Chapter 403 Bailey Hong Zhuang's means Dai Yunyang was already feeling down, but after hearing the words of Bailey Hong Zhuang, he felt like puking blood. It was not that his strength wasn't enough, but that the strength of Bailey Hong Zhuang had completely exceeded the level of the general middle-stage mysterious Ian cultivator. Even if she was a special enrollment, Bailey Hong Zhuang was too strong. Dai Yunyang was extremely perplexed seeing this. Dai Yunyang fiercely bellowed, "You killed G-Man. I will have revenge for her." "Oh," Bailey Hong Zhuang sneered. "You want revenge for Dai G-Man? You're really nonsense." For Dai G-Man and Dai Yunyang, she had always been filled with a deep disgust. She never took the initiative to provoke them or cause trouble. It had always been Dai G-Man and Dai Yunyang who continuously came to trouble her. Although such a cat or a dog would not hurt her, it was really annoying. Bailey Hong Zhuang, Songlan college students are not allowed to kill each other. If you dare to kill me, you cannot escape the punishment of the college. Dai Yunyang's eyes were shining with severe malice, like that of a fierce wolf, a flash of conspiracy hidden in them. He knew that he had lost a day. Bailey Hong Zhuang's strength was beyond his expectations. However, as long as he could escape this dilemma today, there would be more opportunities for revenge in the future. Ling Jia Xian, Lu Jingcan, and Peng Yinxiang were completely dumbfounded at the moment. They had come here to deal with Bailey Hong Zhuang, but the end result was that they themselves had been suppressed. Thinking of this, their faces turned pale and clammy. This is simply shaming for their homes. Peng Yinxiang was distressed to the extreme. Obviously, in the special enrollment dormitory, only Bailey Hong Zhuang is there. Did not know where these three little guys emerged from. This was not trapping people. The three of them wanted to help Dai Yunyang, but the strength of these three little guys is not weak. They were busy, so simply could not help. Bailey Hong Zhuang's eyes condensed on Dai Yunyang, the latter's eyes full of hatred, a panoramic view. Such a person, if she let him go once, she would only be causing unknown trouble for herself at any time in the future. Letting such unknown trouble exist had never been her, Bailey Hong Zhuang's means. It was just that there was a bit of risk in college. If seen by others, it would inevitably provoke more trouble. After all, people of the college were coming and going all the time, so they may be seen. Seeing Bailey Hong Zhuang's brows pinched with a troublesome expression, Dai Yunyang smiled proudly. "Bailey Hong Zhuang, I advise you to obediently let us go, or you will be in trouble." Hearing the words, Bailey Hong Zhuang's exquisite face revealed an enchanting and charming smile. She stepped harder on Dai Yunyang, using more strength. "You and your sister are really the same. Annoying." Feeling the severe pain from his chest, the bitter hatred in Dai Yunyang's eyes thickened. "Don't get so proud so soon." Bailey Hong Zhuang's eyes narrowed. Like a Cheshire cat, she revealed a lazy smile, charming and shrewd. "Even if I cannot kill you in Songlan College today, but I still want to fulfill you, so I will use another method." The next moment, Bailey Hong Zhuang's lips curved up in an even deeper arc, the smile more perfect and charming. She slowly bent down, and near the ears of Dai Yunyang, said, "You say if I destroy your pubic region, what will you do?" Chapter 404 Wasted. Dai Yunyang's proud expression crumbled after hearing the words of Bailey Hong Zhuang. His body became stiff, eyes staring at Bailey Hong Zhuang, revealing his astonishment and panic. "No, you cannot do that." Once Bailey Hong Zhuang destroyed his pubic region, Dantian, all that he had ever hoped would be shattered. After that, he would be nothing more than an ordinary man, not even able to cultivate. Thinking of all the opponents that he had offended before, he knew that if he became a useless waste, those people would certainly be unable to wait to teach him a lesson. "Why can't I do that?" Bailey Hong Zhuang's cherry lips curved. "I hate it when others threaten me." Now, victory and defeat were both completely in her hands. Dai Yunyang still dared to threaten her? He really walked the thin line between life and death. Dai Yunyang was terrified, and his eyes contained the slightest touch of redness. If his cultivation was destroyed, it was worse than killing him. "Bailey Hong Zhuang, I beg you. I will never cause you any trouble as long as you let me go this time." However, Bailey Hong Zhuang's beautiful, cold eyes were filled with indifference. Being kind to the enemy was being cruel to oneself. This one code she remembered most clearly. If it had not been for eliminating all the troubles in her past life, she would have been unable to lead the entire Bailey family. Unfortunately, it is too late. The sharp words Bailey Hong Zhuang spoke did not give Dai Yunyang any opportunity for a counterattack. And then, Bailey Hong Zhuang's flat palm severely hit Dai Yunyang's dantian. Boom! A loud noise came, and like a deflated balloon, Dai Yunyang collapsed, his entire atmosphere suddenly dissipating. At the moment, Dai Yunyang's face became of deep despair from his earlier terror. Finished. Everything was over. Dai Yunyang's entire being was gloomy, enveloped in a layer of despair. It had only been a short while since he returned to the college, but from someone proud of his cultivation, he had been turned into a waste. He felt the energy of his body dissipating. He had been reduced to a waste. Everything instantly obliterated. "Bailey Hong Zhuang, you!" Ling Jia Xian shouted loudly. This Bailey Hong Zhuang even dared to destroy Dai Yunyang's dantian. Bailey Hong Zhuang slowly looked at Ling Jia Xian, sharp eyes like that of an eagle staring at its prey, filled with arrogance. Just this look, Ling Jia Xian's voice collapsed. Those eyes, beautiful, sharp, and filled with murderous intent, as if as long as she said a word, her fate would be as miserable as Dai Yunyang's. Lu Jingcan and Pang Yunxiang were holding their breaths, not daring to breathe out. What a joke! Among them, the strongest was Dai Yunyang. Now, even Dai Yunyang was turned to waste by Bailey Hong Zhuang. If they dared to mess with her, wouldn't that be signing their own death warrant after seeing the performance of Ling Jia Xian and others? Bailey Hong Zhuang looked away. "Blame your sister for provoking me." Bailey Hong Zhuang said this and turned to walk outside the college, little black, little white, and Baisher quickly following her. Dai Yunyang, who had lost his ability to cultivate, was no longer a threat to her. As for the other three, she believed that they had been scared enough by her. They wouldn't dare to cause her troubles. After Bailey Hong Zhuang left, Ling Jia Xian and the other two immediately rushed towards Dai Yunyang. At the moment, Dai Yunyang no longer had his former high-spirited, arrogant aura and exuded depression. His eyes were numb and sluggish, still unable to believe that he had been turned into a waste. Pang Yunxiang's heart was also feeling regretful at the moment. If he had known that Bailey Hong Zhuang was so powerful, he would have never gone and caused her any trouble. Dai Yunyang collapsed. He had offended a strong opponent, and now he was a waste. The days ahead would be harsher. "You first take Dai Yunyang, so he can rest. I still have some things to do first." Pang Yunxiang said this, and immediately afterward fled. Continuing to be with Dai Yunyang had no meaning. He believed that when the news of Dai Yunyang becoming a waste spread, many practitioners would surely come to trouble Dai Yunyang. After all, the arrogance Dai Yunyang had was remarkable, and the number of opponents he had offended numbered many. If he continued to stay here, and later was misunderstood of having to do something with Dai Yunyang, wouldn't he be causing trouble for himself? Seeing Pang Yunxiang leaving, Lu Jingcan and Ling Jia Xian's faces turned ugly. They themselves were panicking and wanted to flee. Pang Yunxiang's behavior was not so surprising. Li Jingcan's eyes narrowed. From now on, he would have to work hard to get rid of all relations with Dai Yunyang. Only because he still remembered Dai Ji-man, he would first carry Dai Yunyang back to his quarters. Ling Jia Xian's mind was also in a disarray. She liked Dai Yunyang and was attracted to him, but now that he was a waste, Little Black and Little White changed to their original form, quietly continued to pretend to be a flower, and Baisher too lazily nested in the arms of Bailey Hong Zhuang. "Master, why did you let Ling Jia Xian go?" Little Black asked aloud. For an annoying flea-like Ling Jia Xian, it was too cheap to clean her up. Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled faintly. Baisher's pause to her face must have been a big punishment for Ling Jia Xian. But I still feel that it was not enough. Little Black's lips curled in disdain. There's a blood hatred between me and Dai Yunyang, but the contradiction between me and Ling Jia Xian and me is based entirely on Dai Yunyang. Now that Dai Yunyang has been turned to a waste, with Ling Jia Xian's attitude, it is absolutely impossible for her to continue being with Dai Yunyang, and so the contradiction between me and her no longer exists. To deal with this problem, dealing with the root of it was enough. After all, she was not a killer. If the conflict became out of hand and could not be resolved, she would use it as a last resort. I agree with the owner's principles in doing things, Baisher said. Bailey Hong Zhuang touched Baisher's supple, soft hair with one hand. This little guy's hair had grown very supple and shiny and felt really good. Baisher closed his eyes in comfort, rubbing against her arms, slightly excited at receiving her care. Although she had just fought with Dai Yunyang, Bailey Hong Zhuang did not feel tired. Bottomless, black eyes diffused with a chilling cold light, Bailey Hong Zhuang would now go to Gu Tsang Yun's residence. Gu Tsang Yun was as nasty as Dai Yunyang, and she hated him just as much. Chapter 406 Gu Tsang Yun's thoughts of the moment. Gu Tsang Yun was pacing back and forth in his house. He would have to pay a heavy price tomorrow to Bailey Hong Zhuang and also lose his reputation. With that thought in his mind, he grew more frustrated as time went by. He even started detesting Huan Chuyu. In his opinion, Huan Chuyu must have favored Bailey Hong Zhuang, and now he had to pay such a price. He might as well have got on his knees to apologize. What would be the difference? On the contrary, his loss was actually even bigger. Damn that Bailey Hong Zhuang. She dared to offend this old man. This old man will not let her go. Gu Tsang Yun slapped the table in anger, his pair of emotion-filled and murky eyes filled with bitter hatred. This loss was really difficult to swallow. Gu Tsang Yun had lived for so many years. It was the first time he had suffered such a big loss. He had spent a lot of money to get the channel opening pill, wanting to study it and increase his own income. He had not expected that eating that pill would even reduce his cultivation by 2 levels. Today, he had wanted to deal with Bailey Hong Zhuang. Sure, she would lose, but no, there was no chance of him getting back his loss. Even his reputation was damaged, and he had to pay Bailey Hong Zhuang so much remuneration. This was simply outrageous. Suddenly, Gu Tsang Yun's eyes became darker, the resentment in them becoming richer. His mouth slowly arced in a ghastly smile. Bailey Hong Zhuang, wanting to take advantage of me is not that simple. He had come up with a great strategy. As long as he killed Bailey Hong Zhuang, then the loss he suffered would naturally come back to his own pocket. An old man. You're dumb. I really don't want to translate your shit thoughts. Since the effectiveness of the channel opening pill had been proved by Bailey Hong Zhuang, it showed that the pill Bailey Hong Zhuang had made was real. How difficult would it be for him to duplicate it? He only needed to kill Bailey Hong Zhuang, take her heaven and earth bag, then naturally everything he lost would be accounted for. Moreover, Bailey Hong Zhuang had even created the channel opening pill. The number of good resources with her would not be less. As long as he got her heaven and earth bag, then it would be like finding a treasure. Thinking of this, Gu Tsang Yun's gloomy mood became cheerful in an instant. Bailey Hong Zhuang, I will let you be proud for today, but tomorrow you will disappear from this world entirely. Gu Tsang Yun's mouth evoked a chilling smile. He wanted Bailey Hong Zhuang to know that Old Ginger was always spicier and that offending him was a great price. Who do you want to completely disappear from this world? Suddenly, another voice rang out behind Gu Tsang Yun. Gu Tsang Yun turned pale as a ghost, immediately turning around and looking for who it was. The door that had previously been closed was now open, and a man leisurely leaned on the frame. Moonlight fell on his body, illuminating that beautiful face, making it even more charming, chic, and coy. However, the arrival of this person made Gu Tsang Yun's body tighten with tension, his eyes focused on the man before him. Fear revealed in his eyes. "You're Debe Chun." He had a deep impression of the man in front of him. Because this man's countenance was so superior, it was really difficult for people to forget it. Moreover, today the man had been standing beside Bailey Hong Zhuang, and every time he had spoken had only pushed him deeper into a corner. How could he have forgotten him? Bei-chun grinned with malice, that evil smile causing a cold shudder to run down Gu Songyun's spine. Chapter 407D Bei-chun's hand. I just asked who you wanted to disappear from this world. Bei-chun repeated his question, his tone more frosty. Gu Songyun's face turned ugly. As a refining pharmacist, the protection power around his house was not weak. He really did not understand how a student could just barge in. How did you come in? Bei-chun's pink lips rose slightly, his brows revealing his disdain and ridicule. He did not mean to waste time here. Just came in through the door. Looking at the indifferent Bei-chun, Gu Songyun's mind was panicking. Bei-chun could so easily swagger in. This had proved his strength. You leave right now. Gu Songyun yelled loudly. Bei-chun walked over from the door, slowly approaching Gu Songyun, again smiling evilly. Who do you think you are ordering? Gu Songyun naturally heard the ridiculing tone in Bei-chun's voice. This person did not look a bit like an ordinary student of its Songlon College. The oppressive atmosphere his body exuded seemed like he had been born with it. He obviously had a ridiculing expression, but the heavy pressure spoke otherwise. Even if it was him, in front of Bei-chun, he still felt fear of the impending pressure. If you do not leave, I will inform Huan Chuyu, and you will be punished heavily. Gu Songyun stepped back slightly. Since he had devoted himself to alchemy, his level of cultivation was not high. Not to mention that his strength had also declined by 2 levels, he would have even more problem in dealing with an opponent like Bei-chun. Bei-chun's smile only grew wider. Old man, it seems you still haven't figured out the situation. What do you mean? Gu Songyun could not help but ask. Just as you said, I do not intend to let you see tomorrow's dawn. Gu Songyun's expression changed and twisted, looking at Bei-chun. He could not believe that Bei-chun's courage was even this great. Do you know the consequences of killing me? Gu Songyun's voice became louder. When it is known, it would be absolutely impossible for you to continue staying at Songlon College. Are you really willing to ruin the future of Bailey Hongzhuang? Bei-chun chuckled. Old man Gu, you're really thick. When I kill you, I will make sure that no one at Songlon College knows. While speaking, Bei-chun came closer to Gu Songyun. I came so late at night, especially to let you know the price of moving against my lady. As the voice of Bei-chun faded, the shock in Gu Songyun's eyes only grew thicker. He stared at Bei-chun, struggling to digest the meaning of his words. Bailey Hongzhuang was Bei-chun's wife? Old man Gu, the night is deep. I think I should send you early to rest in peace. Bei-chun's eyes were cold. He held a deep disdain for this old man. He dared to ruin Bailey Hongzhuang today. How could he let him go? Seeing Bei-chun walk towards him, Gu Songyun couldn't help but shout loudly, "Save!" Because of the protective measures around the house, no one knew that Gu Songyun had been killed, and Bei-chun left like nothing had happened. Chapter 408. I have an understanding with the lady Bailey Hongzhuang walked towards Gu Songyun's residence. Since Gu Songyun had always been so arrogant, it had been pretty easy to inquire where he lived. For a person like Gu Songyun, she did not intend to be the slightest bit polite. This guy thought too highly of himself. He actually wanted to rely on his reputation as an alchemist to ruin her reputation. If a guy like this continued to live in this world, I'm afraid there would be many other people ruined by him. Master, isn't the person ahead Bei-chun? Suddenly, Little Black's surprised voice rang out. Bailey Hongzhuang, upon hearing this, looked ahead and she saw a pale golden silhouette slowly coming to stand before her. That tall and straight body, free and leisurely pace, and that perfectly handsome face. Who could it be other than Bei-chun? Have to admit, Little Black's eyesight was really sharp. Bailey Hongzhuang stopped, standing in her place. Looking at the figure in front, his exquisitely beautiful face etched with a smile. Bei-chun's handsome face revealed an evilly charming smile upon seeing Bailey Hongzhuang. Lady, the night is now deep. How are you here and not resting in the dormitory? That low, charming voice revealed his joking tone, as Di Bei Chen slowly asked. Bailey Hong Zhuang's brows lifted slightly, eyes black and clear, sparkling like stars. You ran out in the middle of the night. Naturally, I had to take a look. Di Bei Chen's face brightened as he heard that, his beautiful eyes narrowing slightly, the arc of his smile getting bigger like a wily fox. It seems that my position in the eyes of my lady is very important. Even came this late to find me. Were you worried that husband would run away with someone else? Di Bei Chen's hands touched Bailey Hong Zhuang's shoulders. His pair of eyes with the sea-like depth stared at Bailey Hong Zhuang, turning brighter and mellow, revealing his joy. Lady, you can rest assured that there is only one person in husband's heart. It is impossible to have a relationship with another woman. Looking at Di Bei Chen as he took the vow, Bailey Hong Zhuang could not help but blink. Even if there's a connection between you and another woman, I am not interested. She did not understand how this guy came to his previous conclusion. According to his statement, he was claiming her as his real wife? What? Bailey Hong Zhuang's heart beat loudly as she thought of his words. Lady, you cannot speak so indifferently. Di Bei Chen laughed, handsome face full of confidence, dazzling like the sun. Bailey Hong Zhuang glanced at Di Bei Chen. She really admired this guy's cheekiness. Where did you come back from? Bailey Hong Zhang spoke leisurely, her beautiful eyes shining with wisdom. In fact, as early as the moment she knew that Di Bei Chen left the dormitory, her heart had a faint feeling. Seeing Di Bei Chen at this moment only gave more proof that she was right. Di Bei Chen chuckled loudly, his right hand holding the waist of Bailey Hong Zhuang. The lady and I naturally have an understanding. One simple sentence directly gave Bailey Hong Zhuang her answer. Chapter 4. Oh, I know. She did not admit this. Listening to Di Bei Chen, the emotions in Bailey Hong Zhuang's eyes deepened even more. She had to admit Di Bei Chen, and she did have a tacit understanding of sorts. It seemed that the thing she wanted to do had already been guessed by Di Bei Chen. Lady, let's go back, Di Bei Chen said, smiling. Bailey Hong Zhuang glanced at Di Bei Chen, and then her eyes fell on his arm around her waist. This guy, why did he hug her waist so naturally and skillfully? Noticing the direction of Bailey Hong Zhuang's eyes, Di Bei Chen smiled brightly. Lady, the night is now deep. No one can see us now. That was not the key point here, all right? She doesn't mind that nobody will ever see, but this guy's hand shouldn't be there at all. However, looking at Di Bei Chen's happy smile, who seemed to think nothing was wrong, Bailey Hong Zhuang could only speak up helplessly. Take your hand away. Lady, we are already a couple. Why do you still care about such things? Di Bei Chen winked at her with a bewitching smile, a devilish look on his face. Bailey Hong Zhuang could only glare at Di Bei Chen with a pair of cold eyes. This guy, he looked pleasant, but he was really unruly. Di Bei Chen, seeing Bailey Hong Zhuang's serious look, reluctantly pulled back his hand. Since the lady does not like, then... Bailey Hong Zhuang was satisfied that he had released her. This guy could be really shameless. As Bailey Hong Zhuang was lost in thinking, Di Bei Chen's big and strong hand pulled her tender, soft one, walking towards the front. Lady, we should go back. That warm touch startled Bailey Hong Zhuang. She stared at the tall stature walking in front of her, an indescribable sensation spreading in her heart. This feeling made Bailey Hong Zhuang forget her resistance, letting Di Bei Chen lead her back to the college. However, she did not see Di Bei Chen's smile that was as brilliant as sunshine. That kind of smile that came from the heart could not be hidden no matter how strongly one tried. It was as if every cell in his being was happy, and the emotion reflected in his eyes. Little Black and Little White looked at them, confused. Was a master going to deal with Gu Songyin right now? Now, Di Bei Chen had said a few misty words, and they were directly heading back to the college. Did that mean that Di Bei Chen had already solved the problem? Lady, take rest now. You experienced many twists and turns today. You must be tired. Di Bei Chen smiled gently, Like a gentle stream, it surrounded Bailey Hong Zhuang, and she could not help but indulge in this feeling. She looked at Di Bei Chun and nodded. You must also take rest. Saying this, Bailey Hong Zhuang did not turn to look at Di Bei Chun and, opening the door, directly walked into her room. Closing the door, Bailey Hong Zhuang leaned against the door, her face flushing slightly. What had happened just now? She could not help but touch her face. Was she actually so immersed in the tender feelings Di Bei Chun evoked in her? No, she did not want to admit this. Outside the door, Di Bei Chun stared at the closed door, smile overflowing with happiness and amusement. His lady, who always had a low emotional quotient, but it seems, had he finally reached her? Chapter 4, 10 United Front of the Beast inside the house. Bailey Hong Zhuang was lying on her bed, as her mind couldn't help but think of what had happened before. Why did she let Di Bei Chun hold her hand? Enough. She must have been too tired these past few days, so her mind did not wake up. As Bailey Hong Zhuang contemplated these things, Little Black and Little White, the two fur balls were sitting on the windowsill, a sad and lonely atmosphere spreading around them. White, do you think my intelligence is too low? Little Black turned his head, looking at White, his pair of limpid and moist eyes full of doubts about himself at the moment. Little White shook his head. Why do you ask? Why did I not understand the words of Master and Di Bei Chun? Little Black's face was lonely. Can you tell me what they meant? Hearing this, Little White sighed, helplessly lowering his head. In that, I am not much better than you. Oh, two little fur balls sighed together, can only look at the moon in the sky, helpless. They had never before felt that they had low intelligence. As the two fur balls lamented, Baishur, who had not been with them till now, reached the windowsill and sat down beside Little Black. Little Black glanced at Baishur, angrily retorting, Hey, why have you come here running? You want to laugh at us? Baishur shook his head, sighing slightly. Even I do not understand, alas. Oh, Little Black and Little White sighed. At the moment they all felt very low. For the first time, the two fur balls felt closer to Baishur. Currently, the two white and one black wicked sat on the windowsill, heads low, uttering a long sigh. Oh. The next day, the news of Gu Songyun's inexplicable death spread through the Tsanglan College. Gu Songyun as an alchemist had always been well known in the Tsanglan College, but now he had mysteriously died, which naturally shocked everyone. The number of alchemists was few, not to mention that as alchemists their status was noble. Very few people would actually dare to kill an alchemist. Now Gu Songyun had died, but also on the very same day that his reputation was damaged. This made everyone feel that there was something wrong with his death. In my opinion, it must be that Gu Songyun could not stand his own damaged reputation, and so committed suicide. Yes, think of him. Usually he is admired by his disciples as an alchemist. But he wronged Bailey Hong Zhuang, who was innocent and his true face was revealed. According to Gu Songyun's temper, he naturally could not stand this. Committing suicide is a normal thing. That may not be necessary. Maybe someone killed Gu Songyun and deliberately disguised his death as a suicide. Maybe Gu Songyun's killer was someone who despised him. The personality of that person, Gu Songyun, is not good. Every time you look for him to refine immortality, he acts almighty and extremely arrogant. All of a sudden, everyone was talking about it, pitching in their own opinions. However, many people believed that the death of Gu Songyun was not because of suicide. After all, Gu Songyun had offended a lot of people with his temper. As this news reached Bailey Hong Zhuang, Little Black and Little White finally understood what had happened. It turned out that the owner did not deal with him because Di Bei Chun had already dealt with Gu Songyun before them. Chapter 4, 11 Tears. Wei may die. Di Bei Chun is really good. He lives up to my expectations of him. Little Black said, somewhat proud. He had always been optimistic about Di Bei Chun. It turns out that his vision was not bad. Little White nodded his head in agreement. Whatever the outcome may be, Di Bei Chun is now married to the owner, so cannot be too picky. T/ in this line was really confusing, so the meaning may be a bit changed from the original. Looking at Little Black and Little White's proud appearance, Baisher also nodded, agreeing. As long as Di Bei-chun was good to their master, he would not object. Xia Zhiqing's face was lit up with a wide, joyful smile. Hong Zhuang, you are really too amazing. Yesterday, I thought that just making him compensate was too cheap a punishment for him. I did not think that he would actually die. Then, suddenly, the emotion in Ji Qing's clear eyes changed, turning a bit strange as she looked at Bailey Hong Zhuang. Hong Zhuang, about Gu Songyun. Wasn't you who killed him, right? Bailey Hong Zhuang's brow lifted. Giving a sunny smile, she shook her head. It wasn't me. She had been ready to, but before she could, someone had already taken the lead and solved this problem. Oh, Xia Zhiqing nodded. That old guy was so annoying. He must surely have many enemies who find him less than pleasing to the eye. In such circumstance, being killed is normal. Bailey Hong Zhuang's mouth arched in a jesting smile. Indeed, that disrespectful old guy. Don't know how many people he has insulted. Leaving that, today I heard a lot of people talking that the reason why Gu Songyun came forwards to wrong you yesterday was entirely due to Wei Mei Dai. Although Wei Mei Dai has good talent in alchemy, Gu Songyun is now dead and her reputation is not nice. If she wants to find a new master, it won't be easy for her. She can only blame herself. Bailey Hong Zhuang's expression was cold. The reason why she was in such a situation today was entirely her fault. Originally, she did not intend to deal with Wei Mei Dai at all, but Wei Mei Dai joined together with Ling Jia Xian and the others to hurt her. Since she did so, she should have been prepared to pay the price. Her current situation was a result of her previous actions. They should be coming to compensate you in some time. I am curious what Wei Mei Dai's expression will be now. Xia Zhiqing was slightly excited compared to the proud and arrogant face of Wei Mei Dai. She would like to see her crying. In fact, Wei Mei Dai had no tears. Yesterday, she had been rebuked by Master before she could return to her own residence. Just thinking about having to go to college tomorrow to compensate Bailey Hong Zhuang made her feel depressed. If she had known before, she would have never agreed to Ling Jizhen's proposal. If not because of Ling Jia Xian and the others, would she have fallen into such a situation? She sat in bed all night, sulking, unable to sleep. Finally, she fell asleep in the morning. She never thought that just sometime after falling asleep, she would be awakened by other people. She intended to curse those people, but hearing the news they brought, she was shocked. Master actually died? He even died. Until now, she couldn't completely accept that fact. Too many changes had taken place in a short period of time, and now Master was dead. Then what should she do? Without Master's guidance, she could no longer practice being an alchemist. If she sought a new master, would there be one who was willing to accept her as a disciple? Chapter 4:12 Miserable. Dai Yin-yang thinking this, Wei Mei Dai became pale. She wanted to go directly to Ling Jia Xian and the others, but thinking it over, even if she went to Ling Jia Xian and the others, it would make no difference. Ling Jia Xian and the others, how would they be able to compensate for her, BHC's, loss? As Wei Mei Dai expected, Ling Kia Xian, Lu Jingcan, and Pang Yinxiang were all frowning, depressed. Needless to say, after losing her bet with Bailey Hong Zhuang, Ling Jia Xian naturally became impoverished. She had thought that since Dai Yunyang returned, her situation of poverty can be alleviated. She never thought that Dai Yunyang would use all his resources and money at the auction for the channel opening pills, so he now had no extra money. And now they had to compensate Bailey Hong Zhuang for the loss of reputation she suffered, but she did not have any money. As for not paying, she did not dare to think about. Vice Principal himself had testified this. If she does not compensate and the news reached the Vice Principal's ears, her final conclusion will certainly not be good. Although Lu Jingcan and Pang Yinxiang were better off than Ling Jia Xian, not by much. They were not born rich people, the amount of money with them was limited, and in many ways, they needed to rely on Dai Yunyang. They did not expect to lose Dai Yunyang, that support pillar, but also having to compensate such a huge amount. It could be said that the most unfortunate of the three was Pang Yunxiang. After all, Lu Jingkong and Ling Jia Xian had been with Dai Yunyang since a long time, so they had gotten a lot of benefits. Pang Yunxiang had just recently joined the group. What benefits? He got nothing, and now even Dai Yunyang was lost. Forget it, it was his own choice to rely on Dai Yunyang. In addition, he had also been defeated by Bailey Hong Zhuang, lost face, and had to pay a huge fee. He could only blame himself. Could there be anyone more unlucky in this world? Dai Yunyang lay quietly in his bed. He did not give up trying to practice, even after finding that his dantia could not store even a bit of yuan energy. He could accept this outcome only after a lot of despair. Ling Jiaxin looked at the haggard Dai Yunyang before saying aloud, "Yunyang, I will be unable to take care of you later." Hearing this, Dai Yunyang momentarily forgot his depression, looking at Ling Jiaxin with surprise. "Jiaxin, what is the meaning of your words? You know, you are now unable to practice. We should go our separate ways now." Ling Jiaxin's words were firm and decisive. A waste had no future. They would only be ridiculed everywhere and could be killed anytime. Even if her reputation was now damaged, as long as she had the hope of becoming a better cultivator, there was also a hope for a better future. Dai Yunyang couldn't help but hold on tightly to Ling Jiaxin's hand. "Jiaxin, Pang Yunxiang has left, Lu Jingkin is gone. Now even you're going to leave me? Yunyang, you yourself know this. It is impossible for me to be with you now." "Not necessarily. Maybe my dantian can heal," Dai Yunyang said without hesitation. "Don't say your dantian can be healed. Even if it is healed, you'll have to cultivate from scratch. By then, people will be long ahead of you. Your life is now finished." Hearing this remark, Dai Yunyang's entire being became sluggish, unable to contain his misery. Ling Jiaxin was right. His life was now finished, completely finished. Chapter 413, Ungrateful. Wei Mei Dai, Jiaxin, don't leave me. We will get married. Dai Yunyang was gripping to the last glimmering threads of hope. Now that his dantian was destroyed, everything he had worked for was gone. All he now had was Ling Jiaxin. As long as Ling Jiaxin was willing to accompany him, he would be able to return safely to Fengbo country. Otherwise, he was afraid that he would die before he could return to Fengbo country. Listening to Dai Yunyang, Ling Jiaxin's eyes flashed with irony. She could not help but recall that instance when Bailey Hong Zhuang had asked her why Dai Yunyang had never brought her to his home. "Dai Yunyang, previously when I had wanted to go to your home with you, you found all sorts of reasons to prevent that, and now you want to marry me after becoming like this." As Dai Yunyang heard this sentence, all the past emotions between him and Ling Jiaxin vanished in an instant. She had thought that because she was from a poor family, so Dai Yunyang was stalling for time. It now appeared that things were not as she imagined, and that Dai Yunyang simply did not want to marry her. Wasn't Dai Yunyang trying to use her now? Either way, she will not forgive Dai Yunyang. Saying this, Ling Jiaxin directly left the room, without so much as glancing at Dai Yunyang. Dai Yunyang's outstretched hand felt heavy. He had always felt very proud, but now he had nothing. When Wei Mei Dai came to find Bailey Hong Zhuang to pay her the fee for loss of reputation, Bailey Hong Zhuang looked at the fee and asked, "What about your master's share of compensation fee?" Wei Mei Dai became furious. "My master is now dead, and you are still asking him for compensation? We all know that your master has been killed. He didn't have any children, and you were his only apprentice. Then all of his savings would naturally be yours. Even after that, you still can't pay?" Bailey Hong Zhuang's brows raised, mouth curving in an arc. Her seemingly indifferent words were full of aggression to corner Wei Mei Dai. "Wei Mei Dai, how can you be so ungrateful? Even after your master's death, you're only ruining his reputation even more." Xia Zhiqing shook her head, her pair of beautiful eyes filled with disdain. "You are not ready to rest your master rest in peace, right?" Looking at Bailey Hong Zhuang and Xia Zhiqing talking in harmony, Wei Mei Dai's face turned dark. These two had partnered to deal with her. Damn them. Others did not know, but she was quite sure in her belief that her master had not committed suicide. After her master had scolded her yesterday, he had said he would find a solution, but he would not resort to suicide. Moreover, when she went to her master's residence today, she found that her master's heaven and earth bag had disappeared. All of master's precious things had always been placed in that heaven and earth bag. Now that the heaven and earth bag was missing, she knew that the one who had taken it was the one who had killed her master. In other words, she never got anything from Gu Songyun. But no matter how she explained this matter, no one listened. Everyone thought she was being cheap and selfish, but she simply did not have anything. Bailey Hongzhuang, my part of the compensation I have given, so I'm going now. Chapter 414. Hand cramps from counting money. Seeing that Wei Mei Dai was ready to leave, Xia Zhiqing could not help but say, Wei Mei Dai, your master has taught you for so long. Now after such a thing has happened to him, you can't even do such a thing for him? After the information of Gu Songyun had spread, the students of Songlan College were very curious as to how this matter would be dealt with. Therefore, after the arrival of Wei Mei Dai, many people came there, wanted to know the final result. At the moment when they saw Wei Mei Dai's attitude, everyone's contempt and disdain for her deepened. This Wei Mei Dai is really too ungrateful. Whether Gu Songyun was right or wrong doesn't matter, but he was her master for so long. Her character is not good at all. She got so many benefits from Gu Songyun, but now she's being so stingy. If it wasn't for Wei Mei Dai, Jiu Songyun wouldn't have lost face yesterday. Really is a scourge. Hearing the words of those around her, Wei Mei Dai felt as if a knife was stabbing her right in the heart, and her face became ugly. No one believed her. Even if she explained, it wasn't of any use. However, the amount of money she had on her now was barely enough for herself. In the past, to get her hands on the channel opening pill from Bailey Hongzhuang, she had spent a lot of money in now for this compensation. Before she had an abundance of these, and a large part of the reason was Gu Songyun. But now Gu Songyun was dead, and he was even robbed before he was killed. This Xia Zhiqing really does not know how to shut her mouth. Wei Mei Dai couldn't bear to hear such accusations, and she was cornered right now. She stared at Bailey Hongzhuang and Xi Zhiqing angrily. My master shared. I will give in a few days. Looking at the back of Wei Mei Dai, who was leaving, Bailey Hongzhuang's brows raised, eyes revealing her doubt. In theory, Wei Mei Dai should have handed over the money directly now, and then get angry. This approach did not seem to fit her style at all. Following Wei Mei Dai, Ling Jia ex-Science Trio one by one paid the reputation loss fee to Bailey Hongzhuang. Their current attitudes were different from their past arrogance. Facing Bailey Hongzhuang, the three of them tried to flatter her. Xia Zhiqing's lips curved in an ironic smile, hearing their words and pleasing smiles. They seemed to have decided to no longer be an enemy of Bailey Hongzhuang, and treated her with a caring attitude, hoping that Bailey Hongzhuang would forgive them and write off this grudge. Looking at the attitude of the trio, Bailey Hongzhuang knew that her own purpose had been achieved. She did not make things difficult for them, and only replied arbitrarily. When Bailey Hongzhuang went back to her own room, she saw that Di Bei-chun was standing next to the door, smiling as he looked at her. Today, your hand did not cramp because of counting, right? He means counting the money. Di Bei-chun smiled warmly, and even she, BHC, was impressed. Seeing Di Bei-chun's deep, meaningful smile, Bailey Hongzhuang could not help but recall the first time she had met Di Bei-chun. This guy at that time hadn't even been ready to give her 100 gold coins. Chapter 415. Happy Little Beast. Bailey Hongzhuang's brows lifted slightly as she looked at Di Bei-chun, still thinking of that incident. No, it was better than a guy who did not even give 100 gold coins. Di Bei-chun's deep sea-like eyes diffused with amusement. He and his lady's understanding was really deep. If I had given the 100 gold coins, would I have been able to marry and embrace such a beauty? Di Bei-chun smiled evilly, eyes revealing a trace of fragility, but it made him seem all the more attractive. Bailey Hong Zhuang knew that the words Di Beichun had spoken were true. If at that time he had given her the money, Di Beichun, and she would not have any future entanglements, and she would not have married him. Bailey Hong Zhuang was slightly stunned. She did not know what to say to such a Di Beichun. As Bailey Hong Zhuang was ready to enter her room, Di Beichun suddenly pulled her hand. "Lady, wait." Bailey looked at Di Beichun, puzzled. This guy seemed to have developed a habit of pulling her hand. Just as Bailey Hong Zhuang was about to reprimand him, an object was suddenly put in her hand. Looking down, Bailey Hong Zhuang saw a heaven and earth bag in her hand. Eyes full of doubts, she asked, "This is?" Di Beichun chuckled. "Gutsong Yun's heaven and earth bag. Maybe there's something in it that would interest you." Bailey Hong Zhuang was slightly surprised, understanding why Wei Mei Dai had revealed that embarrassed expression previously. Originally, the heaven and earth bag of Gutsong Yun was in the hands of Di Beichun. No wonder Wei Mei Dai was so embarrassed. She was cash-strapped, that's why. Di Beichun looked at Bailey Hong Zhuang. "Lady, isn't the object husband gave you now much better than 100 gold coins?" Bailey Hong Zhuang's elegant and exquisite face revealed a smile as she looked at the heaven and earth bag. Barely. Going back to her room, Bailey Hong Zhuang immediately looked through the heaven and earth pouch of Gutsong Yun. Whatever it was like now, Gutsong Yun was also a refining pharmacist, alchemist. He must have accumulated a lot of things over the years. Thinking this, Bailey Hong Zhuang, little white, little black, and Baisher's eyes reflected the luster of the gold coins. Although they had guessed that Gutsong Yun must have accumulated a lot, this guy really had a lot of money, Wow. We are rich. Little Bulk's hands clutched the gold, eyes bubbling with happiness. They had made a really huge sum of money recently. Little White was not much better than Little Black. So much gold. They could now buy a lot of things, Baisher was holding a pile of gold coins, saliva dripping down his mouth. Its claw continued to touch the colorful demon crystals. What exactly should it eat today? Bailey Hong Zhuang looked at the happy expression of the three beasts, cannot help but feel powerless when she these three, and her mouth arched. As Di Beichun said, this thing really was much better than 100 gold coins. Gutsong Yun mostly had money in the bag, but he also had a small part of Dan and herbs. Bailey Hong Zhuang picked them up one by one. These Dan she knew how to make, so there was no use. However, these Dan would still shoot to a very high price at an auction house. After all, the most important thing for a refining pharmacist is Dan. Bailey Hong Zhuang looked at the herbs one by one. The herbs Gutsong Yun collected were valuable and had a wide use. Chapter 416 Mercenary Union's Blue Level Mission. Eventually, Bailey Hong Zhuang's gaze concentrated on a green herb. The small plant was green, like beautiful green jade, without the slightest bit of impurity. It looked somewhat like a tree vine, but exuded a charming fragrance. Bailey Hong Zhuang's eyes expressed her happiness. She had not expected to get such a good thing from Gutsong Yun. Xiangling Rattan was a very precious herb. Although its role was pretty common, in several immortality pills and Dan, there was a need for Xiangling Rattan. It was just that the growth conditions for Xiangling Rattan were very harsh, so there were very few of these. Usually Xiangling Rattan could only be found at an auction and the price would be high. That old guy actually did such a good thing before dying. Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled, wrapping up the Xiangling Rattan. This final outcome was really good. Compared to the infamy of Wei Mei Dai, the reputation of Bailey Hong Zhuang was getting higher and higher in Songlan College. Even though everyone already knew that she was married to Di Beichun, there were still many men who regarded Bailey Hong Zhuang as their goddess, and there were many women who considered Bailey Hong Zhuang their idol. Even when facing Gutsong Yun, Bailey Hong Zhuang could still argue reasonably. Her guts were just amazing. As the days restored calmness, Bailey Hong Zhuang used the points she gained at the auction to retreat and practice in the cultivation pagoda. Little Black, Little White, and Baisher also followed Bailey Hong Zhuang in her retreat. Although the points were spent very fast, the strength of Bailey Hong Zhuang was also rapidly improving. 7 days later, a piece of news swept through the Songlan city. Mercenary Union had released a mission Mission rewards were high, and it was a blue-level mission. It turned out that after the demonic beast tide, somehow, sometime, to the east of the mountains a fog forest had appeared. Someone had heard roars of beasts from this emerged forest, but unable to go through the fog, he had come back in exasperation. The mercenary union had released the mission after receiving the news, and needed cultivators to go to the white fog forest to find out what had happened for a generous sum of reward. It wasn't like such a task had never been issued by the mercenary union, but the frequency of this was very low. After all, such a task was equivalent to an unknown task, and only after going there would someone know what's going on in there. The reason why it was determined as a blue-level mission was after the mercenary union had gotten an understanding of the information and determined the level of danger. According to mercenary union, there were 5 levels of tasks: yellow, green, blue, purple, and red. The mercenary levels were also divided into these 5 levels. The higher the level, the higher the degree of danger. As blue was intermediate, it could be said that the risk factor was not too high. Therefore, after the announcement of this task, many cultivators set out to explore the Luyun Mountains. That day, Bailey Hong Zhuang and others also decided to go to the mountains. Since the previous experience of the demonic beast tide in the Yunlu Mountains, they had not come to the mountains for a long time. Compared to ordinary students, special enrollment students were indeed much freer. If not for Di Beichan informing her about this, Bailey Hong Zhuang was afraid she would have stayed at the cultivation pagoda today. Soon after everyone gathered in the mountains, Lu Huaiyin and Fu Hongbo arrived. Chapter 417 Experience in the Miasma Forest. Everyone has come. Lu Huayan's face was soft with a warm smile. After encountering that demonic beat tide, I believe that everyone's mood has calmed down. Listening to Lu Huayan, the face of the students exposed a smile. That time, when they had experienced the demonic beast tide, had been a shocking and thrilling experience. But they were cultivators. How could they have not calmed down even after so long? People's eyes could not help but fall on by Junyu and Shui Haoyan's body. If anyone had a psychological shadow, so to say, it would be by Junyu and Shui Haoyan. The two of them had been seriously injured last time, and everyone had mixed feelings about letting them come. Realizing quickly that everyone's attention was them, Bai Junyu and Shui Haoyan smiled and shook their head, indicating they have no problem. Since everyone has no problem, it is naturally very good. Lu Huayan's deep, dark eyes flashed with satisfaction. A cultivator should go through battles to enhance themselves. This time a mercenary union has released a blue-level mission. I believe we all understand. They all nodded. The most popular news in the Songlan city recently was the blue-level mission. Walking on the street, you could hear almost everyone talking about it. At present, many people had gone to the Miasma Forest, but they had not got the slightest news. The principal and I have decided to lead you all to the forest. When he said this, his face and eyes revealed his excitement. As soon as he had heard there was a blue-level task, his heart had been flooded with youthful vigor. Even if the principal had not organized this, they had been ready to go there on their own. But now that they were coming as mentors, it was naturally better. You will regard this mission as training, and unless it is a matter of life and death, I and Teacher Fu will not appear. Everyone has to rely on themselves in the mountains. There should be no problem with this arrangement. No problem. Listening to everyone's consistent answer, Lu Huayan's face had a happy smile. Because of the last demonic beast tide, the college had lost a lot of outstanding students, so they had to be cautious this time around. To be on the safer side, he and Fu Hongbo would travel with the students. All they had to do was ensure their safety and give them more chances for an experience. They will not show up unless it was absolutely urgent. After all, it should be taught in college itself to rely on themselves, since later on in the future you had to be alone. Bailey Hong Zhuang and the others naturally understood this and felt very good after seeing the painstaking efforts of these two elders. Since there is no problem, everyone will go back and prepare well and gather at the gates of the college tomorrow. Fu Hongbo spoke. Yes. Bailey Hong Zhuang slowly walked in the direction of the living quarters about this blue-level mission. she had just learned today. First, the demonic beast tide suddenly appearing in the mountains, and now this strange miasma forest. Lady, what are you thinking? Dibei-chan was walking with Bailey Hong Zhuang and asked with a smile. Nothing, just thinking of what could be there inside the fog forest. Bailey Hong Zhuang shrugged, a shallow smile on her face. Seeing that touch of smile and those charming eyes, Dibei-chen's own eyes could not help but become a bit tender. That's unimportant. What matters is that I am by your side. Bailey Hong Zhuang, to such comments, now turned a blind eye. This guy could be really shameless. She had stopped reacting now. Chapter 4, 18 Heartache. Dong Fong Yu, however. Dibei-chen's next words made Bailey Hong Zhuang go soft. This time, I will not let you fall in danger. His warm and enchanting voice was full of seriousness, as Dibei-chen's eyes stared into the eyes of Bailey Hong Zhuang, overflowing with affection. In the face of such a serious Dibei-chen, Bailey Hong Zhuang couldn't just ignore his previous words. She was convinced of what Dibei-chan had said. Although she had not personally witnessed the reaction of Dibei-chan when he learned that she had been caught in the demonic beast tide, she could see it in the reaction of Hei Mu. Looking at Bailey Hong Zhuang's slightly cold and embarrassed look, the hint of a smile in Dibei-chen's eyes increased. His lady was really cute. Dong Fong Yu's eyes swept from the body of Dibei-chen to Bailey Hong Zhuang, his handsome eyes unable to hide his sadness. Since Dibei-chen came, the distance between him and Bailey Hong Zhuang had been alienated a lot. He was worried that his closeness to Bailey Hong Zhuang would cause Dibei-chen to be dissatisfied, and if he caused a misunderstanding between Bailey Hong Zhuang and Dibei-chen, it was naturally not good. Only, for his own sake of mind, he couldn't help but pay attention to Bailey Hong Zhuang. He could no longer be as close as before. After such a long time, he faced his own heart. He liked Bailey Hong Zhuang. He did not know when he started to like her, but he had already liked her for a long time when he discovered his own feelings. And it wasn't even when he, as with Bailey Hong Zhuang each day, he never realized his feelings until the day Dibei-chen appeared, and then he realized. It's just that, no matter when he realized it, he was already too late. He had always led an unruly life, never thought that one day a woman would occupy his heart. Now, after he and Bailey Hong Zhuang got along in just that short period of time, her figure had been deeply imprinted in his mind, his heart. Perhaps, as early as the first time he saw Bailey Hong Zhuang, he had been tempted, dressed in white, so courageous even in the face of many bandits, not a trace of worry on her face, easily solving the trouble caused by those bandits. From that moment, he had been attracted to the wisdom and courage of Bailey Hong Zhuang. At the time when she had been put in danger in the Yunlu Mountains, and he had been unable to save Bailey Hong Zhuang, he had felt so angry in that cave. If Bailey Hong Zhuang had not been married yet, he could have boldly pursued her, but now, what could he do? Maybe this had been destined, just as he had never been able to hold onto the hand of Bailey Hong Zhuang in the Yunlu Mountains. In the future, too, he had no hope to hold her hand. Only a kind of unspeakable pain and loneliness spread in his heart. Such an elegant woman who would easily forget. Gong Shaoqing's eyes fell on Dong Fong Yu. During this period, there had been no small change in the past and present Dong Fong Yu. The ever-polite smile on Dong Fong Yu's face had changed and disappeared. He was no longer as interested in little things. Don't know when Dong Fong Yu had become like him, retreating all day long to practice. Lu Qinyu also looked at Dong Fong Yu. She really envied Bailey Hong Zhuang. She seemed to get everything so easily. Chapter 419 Envy. Xia Zhiqing, how many wanted to be able to get Dong Fong Yu's attention, but Dong Fong Yu preferred Bailey Hong Zhuang. She had also tried her best to make Big Brother like her. It seemed simple, but it was very difficult. In contrast, Bailey Hong Zhuang not only had Dong Fong Yu who liked her, there was even such an outstanding man like Dibei-chen. Just this point, I don't know how many people envied her. Whether it was strength, medicine, or alchemy, Bailey Hong Zhuang was proficient in all. She had felt arrogant for so many days, but getting along with Bailey Hong Zhuang, her heart had a kind of unspeakable loss. Looking at the bright, sunny smile of Bailey Hong Zhuang, an unspeakable envy spread in her heart. Perhaps some people are doomed to be jealous of others. After returning to her room, Bailey Hong Zhuang immediately began preparing for all that she would need for the Yunlu Mountains. Since the last incident, it turned out that anything could happen in the Yunlu Mountains. If they did not have perfect preparation and encountered an emergency, they could only be called stupid. Thinking of this, Bailey Hong Zhuang could not help but hold Baishir. She smiled and touched Baishir's head, since knowing the identity of this little guy, she would not be so worried about the Yunlu Mountains. After all, with the Beast King in her hand, how could she worry about other wicked? Master, what are you going to do? Baishir was obsessed with the feeling of Bailey Hong Zhuang's soft hands petting him. Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled faintly. Nothing, I just feel like worrying about Yunlu Mountains is arbitrary. She had witnessed the power of Baishir's roar. She intended to take Baishir with her this time too. And if Baishir had to use his powers, then she could only imagine everyone's expression at that time. Baishir nodded, although he did not understand. The last time he had roared, the result had been that his master treated him to a meal. This time too, he would be sure to be appreciated by master. After talking to Baishir, Bailey Hong Zhuang walked out of the college. She needed to buy some herbs. Since the Mercenary Union had released this mission, it must not be easy to enter that miasma forest, or the reward would not be this rich. There are several ways she can deal with miasma. 1,000 years ago, miasma forests were not uncommon, and she would often go there for an adventure. Xia Jiqing, on learning that Bailey Hong Zhuang could go to the Yunlu Mountains, was filled with endless envy. But as a regular student, she was not free to go with them. Oh, if I could become a special enrollment student, I just envy this kind of life to death. Xia Jiqing accompanied Bailey Hong Zhuang while buying herbs, although they were both students of Songlan College. The difference between a special enrollment student and a regular student was really big. Listening to this, Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled faintly. I heard that your scores are top-notch among the students. As long as you can give an assessment test, you will be able to become a special enrollment student. Bailey Hong Zhuang was well aware of Xia Jiqing's results. Xia Jiqing's strength was not weak. Coupled with her efforts during cultivating, her rank was very high. Chapter 420 by Jun Yu's Excitement. In order to be able to practice with you in the special enrollment class, one practice very hard. And also, due to your channel opening pills, my meridians have widened, improving my cultivation speed. Xia Jiqing's eyes were shining, her youthful and beautiful face full of excitement. However, I have not become as good as you guys yet. Still, I am very interested in this blue level mission. Have you passed the assessment for special enrollment students? Bailey Hong Zhuang's eyes shined with seriousness as she spoke. If Xia Jiqing wanted to take the examination, she could mention it to the two mentors. Letting her take the exam was not a bad idea. Although she had some conflicts with the two mentors, Lu Huaiyin and Fu Hongbo, when she had enrolled initially, later, she had understood that the two mentors were broad-minded people and always took care of the students. She believed that being harder during the assessment of special enrollment students was not a problem. Xia Jiqing pondered for a moment before her face was filled with a self-confident expression. I believe I will be able to pass the exam. Then I will go back and talk to the two mentors. If they're able to assess before we go, that would be better. Listening to Bailey Hong Zhuang, Xia Jiqing's eyes widened, barely containing her excitement. Bailey Hong Zhuang, will you really talk to them? Bailey Hong Zhuang nodded slightly. Of course, but I can only mention it. I don't know if they will agree. Xia Jiqing happily pulled Bailey Hong Zhuang's hand. I understand, no matter what the outcome. Thanks a lot, haha. Upon seeing her face, Bailey Hong Zhuang's smile also became wider. It was not easy to meet a girl like Xia Jiqing. Accompanied by Xia Jiqing, Bailey Hong Zhuang quickly purchased all the required things before going back to college. Just after returning to the special enrollment dormitory, she saw Bai Junyu walking ahead. Bailey Hong Zhuang, were you with Xia Jiqing till now? Bai Junyu asked, smiling brilliantly. Looking at the Bai Junyu expression, Bailey Hongzhuang's clear eyes revealed her smile. She had found that Bai Junyu was especially concerned about Xia Zhiqing, and whenever Zhiqing was present, Bai Junyu seemed particularly energized. Yes, she just returned to her dorm. Bailey Hongzhuang laughed. Oh, Bai Junyu was unable to hide his disappointment. Bai Junyu, Zhiqing said she wanted to go to Yanlu Mountains with us tomorrow, so I intended to go to the mentors to suggest the special enrollment exam. How do you feel? Deeply, Bailey Hongzhuang wondered how he would answer. Listening to the words of Bailey Hongzhuang, Bai Junyu's eyes glistened with excitement. That is naturally very good. I just don't know if the two mentors will agree. I'm afraid that we will be a bit too late. No, it won't be too late. I will find the two mentors, so leave this thing to me. Bai Junyu's brows wrinkled in determination. You can convince the two mentors. Don't worry, no problem. Bai Junyu patted his chest, gesturing that he would complete this job. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curved into a smile. Well, I will leave this matter to you. Okay, I will go now. If it is too late, I'm afraid making the assessment happen would not be easy. His voice faded, as Bai Junyu disappeared like a gust of wind from the sight of Bailey Hongzhuang. Chapter 4:21 Thank you. Bai Junyu seeing Bai Junyu's receding figure. The corners of Bailey Hongzhuang's lips lifted up in an enchanting arc. It seemed it would be good if Zhiqing and Bai Junyu were together. Master, you're clever. Xiao He smiled, his twinkling eyes looking at her. I just gave Bai Junyu a chance to show off. If he succeeds, Zhiqing would be very grateful to him. Bailey Hongzhuang shrugged, face bearing an innocent expression. She was not thinking too deeply about this matter. The next day, the sky was clear and the day was just perfect. Bailey Hongzhuang and the team gathered at the entrance of the college. The students of the regular class had already started practicing martial arts in the square. At this moment, the students of the special enrollment class had packed their bags and were ready to set off to Yanlu Mountains. The eyes of other students were filled with envy at seeing them. The students of the special enrollment class are really different. They don't know how better their life is. They don't have to be bored in practice here every day. I don't know when I will be a part of the special enrollment class. We still have a chance. They had been practicing when the news of Xia Zhiqing giving the special enrollment assessment had spread. Don't know what the results were. They could only envy the fact that she got to participate. The crowd was filled with an indescribable emotion when the news of Xia Zhiqing becoming a special enrollment student had been announced early that morning. This news had made many groups of students envious and aroused their determination to fight. Since Xia Zhiqing could do it, they could also do it. When they thought of the special privileges given to special enrollment students, they were fired up and full of vigor. As everyone was talking, Xia Zhiqing walked to the side of Bailey Hongzhuang, her face displaying her excitement. Hongzhuang, thank you very much. Xia Zhiqing said excitedly. Now, I can go with you to the Yanlu Mountains. This is really great. You passed the assessment completely with your own ability. What's more, it was Bai Junyu, not me, who went to talk to the teachers yesterday. You should also thank Bai Junyu for his assistance. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled, unable to help but look at Bai Junyu. Xia Zhiqing suddenly felt shy, her face betraying her confusion. How could this matter be related to Bai Junyu? On the side, Bai Junyu was listening to the conversation between Xia Zhiqing and Bailey Hongzhuang. At the moment, he could feel Xia Zhiqing's gaze on him and scratched his head in embarrassment. I just happened to have something to discuss with the teachers yesterday, and I met Bailey Hongzhuang before that, so I asked the teachers. Hearing this, Xia Zhiqing understood and smiled. That was the case. Bai Junyu, thank you. Bai Junyu looked at Xia Zhiqing's smile and couldn't help but be happy. He grinned at her. You're welcome. It was nothing. God knows how he was able to convince the two teachers yesterday to let Xia Zhiqing give the assessment. After Lu Huaiyin and Fu Hongbo met Bai Junyu, they also expressed unwillingness. Yesterday, they were only moved by Bai Junyu's effort. How could they agree so easily about this matter? this time was not correct for holding the assessment. They only did it because by June you talked to them. The two people were tired of being bothered and so reluctantly agreed. Fortunately, the strength of Xia Qing was indeed very good, and she passed the assessment to become a special enrollment student. Otherwise, the two of them would be really unhappy. Chapter 422 Lady, you're beautiful. After Lu Huayin and Fu Hongbo made sure everything was in order and the special enrollment students had arrived, they said, since everyone has arrived, we are ready to set off for the Yunlu Mountains. Yes. The students nodded their heads. They were already ready. Gong Xiaoqing and Cui Haoyan led the group through the Yunlu Mountains. Usually, both of them were captains of two different teams. The others really didn't have an opinion when the two of them were chosen as leaders. In the past, in order to create healthy competition among the students of the special enrollment class, they had always been divided into two teams. Only this time, the situation was slightly special, so they had not been divided into teams. When Beilihong Zhuang and the others set out and traversed the Yunlu Mountains, Lu Huayin and Fu Hongbo did not go with them. But no one knew where they were since they seemed to have disappeared. No one was surprised at this situation. After all, the two teachers had already previously said that they would not appear unless it was a dire situation. Therefore, everyone needed to rely on themselves in the Yunlu Mountains. Beilihong Zhuang had already been to Yunlu Mountains once. Therefore, this time she was much more comfortable. Compared to the last time they had been here, this time their team was much better. There would be any teams in the Yunlu Mountains because of Mercenary Union's blue-level mission. The path was made lively by Xia Qing and by Junyu. Even though the number of people in their team was not small, but everyone was extremely understanding and efficient, so their speed was quite fast. Everyone was determined to show off the quality of Canlan College's special enrollment students. Finally, they arrived in an area quite deep into the mountain range. The group decided to take a short break. After discussing, they decided to go even deeper. Since the blue-level mission had been posted for some time, there had been many mercenaries going in the same direction as the miasma forest this time. If they arrived too late, then it is very likely that they would have gone for nothing, since the mission would have already been completed by other mercenaries. The people all agreed on this. They decided to not wear their usual clothes, since it would be more convenient and reduce their troubles in the mountains. Beilihong Zhuang wore a red dress, instantly attracting everyone's attention. Di Bei Chen's eyes, with their sea-like depth, were filled with intense shock and amazement. Usually, Beilihong Zhuang was dressed in a white dress. The dress showed her off, enhancing her beauty to the fullest, giving her an elegant, gentle feel. However, at that moment, Beilihong Zhuang gave off a completely different feeling. She was like a burning flame, dazzling and eye-catching. She was like an enchanting flower which had just bloomed, showing off its exhilarating beauty. When Di Bei-chan looked at Beilihong Zhuang with that expression, Beilihong Zhuang could not help but smile as she saw him. The white robe with gold embellishments that Di Bei-chan wore made him look handsome and splendid. The handsome and perfect face seemed even more understanding. This beautiful couple naturally drew everyone's attention. Lady, you are beautiful. Di Bei-chen's brows were still lifted in amazement, and Beilihong Zhuang's lips curved in an evilly charming smile. His lady could always make him feel amazed. Beilihong Zhuang smiled faintly, her bright, clear eyes flashing with interest. You're not bad either. Chapter 423 Lady, are you peeking at me? Everyone was staring at the two people who were standing together, side by side. There was an indescribable emotion in their hearts as they sighed. In this world, you could not find two people more fitting for each other, right? Lu Qinyu's appearance had always been praiseworthy, but if she were to stand beside Di Bei-chan, people would not have the feeling of them being a match. The crowd was shocked. Due to such a contrast, they could not help but notice that Beilihong Zhuang looked even more outstanding right now, especially since the red dress made her appear bolder, and you could see the tenacity and fierceness of Beilihong Zhuang. At this moment, Everyone could see that Di Bei-chun and Bailey Hong Zhuang were a natural couple, mutually praised as everyone remained silent. Do you really have to show so much love? Xia Zhiqing had a wide smile on her face. She remembered earlier when she thought that Hong Zong and Dong Fang you were very much in tune. But it turns out that Di Bei-chun and Hong Zhuang were a natural pair. Hong Zhuang, you really look good in this kind of clothes. Bailey Hong Zhuang looked at Xia Zhiqing, who was dressed in purple. There was a trace of playfulness to her, making her appear very cute. However, that mature figure was also exposed under the slightly tight dress, and many men nearby were looking at Xia Zhiqing's curvy body and drooling. Bailey Hong Zhuang blinked and smiled. I can't compare to you. Xia Zhiqing was slightly surprised, but soon understood the meaning of Bailey Hong Zhuang's words. She could not help but flush as she reprimanded. Hong Zhuang. Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled, shrugging as she motioned for her to stop talking. Gong Shaoqing saw that everyone was gathered and said, We are now ready to enter deeper into the mountains. At any time we may meet wicked. We must be more careful. Then Gong Shaoqing turned to the side to Cui Haoyin. You and Zhang Yinfeng walk in front. New students walk in the middle. I and Dong Fang will walk behind. Cui Haoyin nodded slightly. What Gong Shaoqing had said was undoubtedly the best strategy. Only in this way would the risk be minimized. Everyone else did not have an opinion, but Bailey Hong Zhuang could not help but look at Di Bei-chun. In the ranks of the team, Di Bei-chun was the strongest, but that guy was walking around here like he was strolling in the back garden of his own home. Feeling Bailey Hong Zhuang's sight on him, Di Bei-chun bent slightly, coming closer to her. Are you sneakily looking at your husband? You think too much, Bailey Hong Zhuang said as she looked away. This guy's perception was really sensitive. The arc of Di Bei-chun's lips expanded, and he lightly said, Lady can continue to look at me. After all, the husband is here for her. After the arrangement of Gong Shaoqing and Cui Haoyin, the team divided into two rows of people. Naturally, Bailey Hong Zhuang walked with Di Bei-chun, while Xia Zhiqing and Bai Junyu walked behind them. Together, they walked deeper into the mountains. Cui Haoyin, who was walking in the front, looked at the map and led the team in the direction where the miasma forest was. Since the demonic beast tide, there had been many changes in the Luo Yin Mountains. Many plants were destroyed, and towering trees had fallen to the ground, leaning the dense mountain ranges with a feeling of emptiness. A demonic beast tide causes a lot of changes. Bailey Hong Zhuang said, secretly feeling that the destructive force of this century-rare demonic beast tide was really terrible. Hearing the words of Bailey Hong Zhuang, the calm Di Bei-chun's emotions became turbulent, his breathing also changing a bit. Chapter 424 Night, Camping. Feeling the sudden change in Di Bei-chun's mood, Bailey Hong Zhuang looked at him, finding that Di Bei-chun's face was cold as ice, dark and depressed. I will not die so easily. It must be a blessing. Bailey Hong Zhuang's voice was soft. She had long since realized that the demonic beast tide incident was a knot in Di Bei-chun's heart. Every time she mentioned the demonic beast tide, Di Bei-chun's emotions seemed to change, but this change was because of her. Di Bei-chun looked at Bailey Hong Zhuang as if he was trying to etch her in his heart. He nodded slightly, the tension in the atmosphere easing a bit, and that unparalleled beautiful face revealed an evil, charming smile again. Bailey Hong Zhuang sighed in relief. Although she had never seen an angry Di Bei-chun, she believed that Di Bei-chun's rage would be very scary. As they gradually descended down the Luo Yin Mountains, there were fewer and fewer people around. Occasionally they would come across a group of mercenaries who was also going toward the miasma forest. Other times there were no movements. On this expedition, it was inevitable that they would run into wicked beasts. However, they were all sensitive, and the beasts were quickly disposed of by them. In particular, Cui Haoyin and Gong Shaoqing had repeatedly demonstrated their experience from entering the Luo Yin Mountains so many times. Therefore, the entire team did not suffer in the slightest. On the contrary, they had a lot of gains. The eyes of Xia Zhiqing were always glowing with excitement. On this expedition, she was more excited than nervous. Bailey Hong Zhuang was also feeling pretty normal. Her spiritual strength was strong due to being an alchemist. Coupled with the fact that she had traversed through time to come here, her spiritual power was undoubtedly the strongest among this group. Along with the existence of Xiao He, Xiao Bai, and Bai Shi, she was the first person to find the trail of Wicked. However, even in these circumstances, she did not react. She did not try to grab the limelight. This was even more true for Di Bei Chun. Even if he sensed the beasts, his clear and handsome face did not have the slightest change. Truthfully, Bailey Hong Zhuang and the others did not feel like they were on an expedition. At the moment, they felt like it was an excursion. This must be because the strength of the Wicked in the Luo Yin Mountains was not that strong, and with their strength, no one in the group would suffer. However, as they went deeper, they too had to be careful of the surrounding Wicked. As night fell, the whole Luo Yin Mountains was shrouded in darkness. The calls and shrieks of the Wicked made the surroundings sinister. The sky is already dark. Let's find a place to rest. Cui Hao Yin said, "The beasts are rampant at night. If we continue on this path, we will be in trouble if we run into the stronger ones." Hearing this, everyone nodded. Their strength at night was not comparable to Wicked. It was known that many mercenaries had died in the Luo Yin Mountains because they were attacked in the night by Wicked. I've been in this area before. I know a good place for camping. That's good. Cui Hao Yin replied with a laugh. Dong Fong Yu, you come to front to lead the way. Okay. Dong Fong Yu immediately walked to the front of the group and led the team to the place he spoke of. After walking for about 1 incense stick's time, the group finally arrived at the place. It was a highland, and the surrounding vision was wide. If there were any wicked beasts, it would certainly not escape anyone's attention. This was indeed an excellent place to camp. Chapter 425 Lady Cares About Me. This is a really good place. Cui Hao Yin smiled widely as he leaned against a big tree to sit down. Everyone sat down and took a break. Everyone was tired, and so after sitting down, they breathed a sigh of relief. I have long known that the wicked in the Luo Yin Mountains are rampant, and we need to be careful at all times. I have been tense the whole day because of this. Xiaoji Qing took out food from a yin-yang pouch and sighed while eating. Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled slightly. I thought you were very excited today. Oh, this is not the first time I have come to the Luo Yin Mountains, but I'm slightly excited. Then, Xiaoji Qing walked to Bailey Hong Zhuang's side. Hong Zhuang, you knew better than everyone how excited I was after becoming a special enrollment student. Haha, there are some girls who even admire me. This expedition is of great significance to me. Bailey Hong Zhuang tapped her dagger. Even with a little imagination, she could see the expressions of the ordinary class students. After all, Xiaoji Qing was the first student to pass the examination to become a special enrollment student. We should rest now. When we go deeper into the Luo Yin Mountains tomorrow, it will be much more dangerous than today. Xiaoji Qing nodded. I understand. Wicked beasts are frequent in the night. Although this clearing is at a very advantageous place, something could still happen. To be careful, I'm going to arrange for us to take turns keeping watch at night. How about 2 people? Gong Xiaoqing suggested. No problem. Everyone nodded. Since they were a sizable group, they naturally required a guard to be secure. The first one to keep watch will be me and Dong Fong. Others can take a rest. Under the arrangement of Gong Xiaoqing and Cui Hao Yin, the order of keeping vigils was quickly arranged. Bailey Hong Zhuang rested against a big tree, slowly closing her eyes. She still was vigilant in her heart and mind. The wicked in the Luo Yin Mountains were strong because of the thicker spiritual energy. That is why many cultivators like to come to these mountains. The reason was obviously for cultivating. The night would soon turn to day, so she did not plan to rest. It was better to practice all night. She would feel refreshed the next day. Bai Shi lay quietly in the arms of Bailey Hong Zhuang and closed his eyes as if he was resting. As the Beastmaster, it had a lot of wicked cores each day. There was a lot of latent energy in his body, and it took cultivation to slowly absorb the energy of these. Even Xiao He and Xiao Bai were cultivating. They had spent many years in the Chaos Ring. Cultivation had become their habit. Di Bei Chun sat next to Bailey Hong Zhuang, looking at her soft and beautiful face. Glimpses of tenderness appeared in his eyes as he smiled and closed his eyes. It was silent all around. Only Dong Fengyu and Gong Xiaoqing had their eyes wide open as they carefully kept vigil of their surroundings, and nothing moved. When their turn to keep vigil came, Bailey Hong Zhuang and Di Bei Chen also watched the surroundings carefully. The moonlight shined on both of them, casting eerie shadows as they sat next to each other. If Lady is feeling tired, she could take a rest. I can keep watch. Di Bei Chen's eyes were full of concern, his voice warm and refreshing. Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled and looked at Di Bei Chen. It doesn't matter. I'm not tired. I know you can't bear to watch me keep vigil alone. Di Bei Chen smiled, and the moonlight illuminating his face made him extraordinarily charming. Chapter 426. Lady is wise. And we belong together. Bailey Hong Zhuang was startled and glanced at Di Bei Chen. This guy's narcissism was on another level. I was afraid you would fall asleep, and then all the others in the team would be in danger. That would be bad. Hearing this, Di Bei Chen smiled evilly at Bailey Hong Zhuang. There was a hint of affection and laughter in his eyes. Wifey, I know you just don't want to admit it. Bailey Hong Zhuang was helpless. Sure enough, she could just not reason with this guy. Suddenly, Bailey Hong Zhuang sat up straighter, and the instincts that had been cultivated in her throughout the year made her feel that something was wrong. Intuition is a very magical ability that could not be seen and cannot be touched. It could not be explained by common sense, but is actually there. The keen instinct often appeared when the person was on the verge of danger. This type of instinct was more accurate than what is seen by the naked eyes. Under the twilight, Bailey Hong Zhuang looked at the dark woods in front of her. The surroundings at this time were particularly dark. The darkness before dawn was sinister. Shortly after observing the surroundings, Bailey Hong Zhuang's and Di Bei Chen's eyes were filled with a touch of seriousness. Lady, you go and inform everyone. Di Bei Chen whispered. Bailey Hong Zhuang nodded slightly, and whisper shouted to Xia Zhiqing and the others who were asleep. After Xia Zhiqing and the others heard Bailey Hong Zhuang's voice, they were surprised. On the surface, their eyes looked heavy with sleep, but their body was ready to go. Bailey Hong Zhuang went back to the side of Di Bei Chen. His handsome face shone with radiant wisdom. How did you determine that there was an aura of menace coming from a human and not from a wicked beast? He did not miss the fact that she had discovered the danger. Seeing this exemplary show of talent, he could determine that there were still many secrets about his wife. All along, he had felt that his perception of danger was extremely acute, but he had not expected her response to be better than his. This kind of intuition had to be honed, and this alone was enough to judge that her secrets were not simple. Bailey Hong Zhuang's red lips curved slightly. At this time, many wicked beasts begin to rest. If they want to attack, they will not choose this time. Now is also a time when humans are most tired and lax. This is a good time for other humans to sneak attack. Don't you think so? The reason why Di Bei Chen did not directly wake everyone up, but let her remind them, was because he wanted to judge her. Lady is wise. Di Bei Chen blinked in admiration. We belong with each other. The next moment, Bailey Hong Zhuang's brows were knotted. The fact that it was a human and not a wicked was thought-provoking. In the Luoyin Mountains, it was not uncommon for cultivators to get robbed. However, even if the opponents were trying to rob them, they wouldn't have chosen such a large group of people. It would only make things harder for them. As a result, there was only one possibility left. The other party had enmity with them. As soon as this revelation came to light, a man appeared in Bailey Hong Zhuang's mind. Yihu Cheng. The last time they were in the Luoyin Mountains, they had clashed with Yihu Cheng. From the attitude of Yihu Cheng, he did not seem to be one to give up easily. This time the blur-level task was a hot topic, so Yihu Cheng and the others are very likely to be here. Behind a tall tree, Yihu Chung led the rest of the gang as they looked at Dong Fong Yu and the others, his eyes shining and sharp as hawks, with fierceness in them. Chapter 427 Dealings. Yihu Chung. The last time we suffer a loss in front of Gong Shaoqing and the others. This time, we cannot let them escape. Yihu Chung was in a haze. His enmity for Gong Shaoqing and that woman was endless. This time he must see for himself an agonized expression on Gong Shaoqing's face. If it was not for Gong Shaoqing, he would not have been reduced to the level he was at now. Yihu Cheng's eyes were full of malice and poison, his eyes locked tightly on the body of Bailey Hongzhuang. If it wasn't for Bailey Hongzhuang, would he have lost an arm? Fortunately, they left early on that day and their lives were saved. However, having a broken arm as a cultivator would greatly reduce your strength and would disable you from performing many martial arts. In other words, his road to cultivation in this life had almost come to an end. As soon as he thought of this, his hatred for Bailey Hongzhuang would start bubbling. Originally, Yihu Chung had intended to go back and rest, but he understood well that if he did not personally kill Bailey Hongzhuang, he would not be reconciled in this life, so he still appeared here. This time, we have teamed up with the Vicious Flames mercenary group. Even if they are strong, they cannot escape. Yihu Cheng's face was bright, and his eyes were full of coldness. He wants Bailey Hongzhuang to also suffer that desperate pain. Brother Yi, as long as I help you kill these guys, you will join our Vicious Flames mercenary group, right? A sturdy and tall man inquired. This person was the second in command of the Vicious Flames mercenary group, Zhao Yihan. This mercenary group was one of the 3 major mercenary groups in the nearby area. It had a large number of people, and they were very powerful. Few people would dare to mess with them. There were 2 heads in the Vicious Flames mercenary group, Zhao Yibing and Zhao Yihan, both of whom were brothers. These 2 people not only had good cultivation talent, they were also reckless and decisive, because of which they could lead their group to such a reputation in a short period of time. Yihu Chung seriously nodded his head and said, "Yes, I need to report this enmity, and I will do anything for this. If you help me kill them, I'll be a loyal member of Vicious Flames mercenary group in the future." Hearing this, Zhao Yihan's eyes were filled with satisfaction. He also learned about Yihu Chung a few days ago. With Yihu Cheng's age, his future accomplishments would be limitless. Therefore, he had wanted to recruit him. Only, he later learned Yihu Cheng's situation and acceded to his request. Although the Canglan College was indeed a giant in the Luo Yun Mountains, as long as they disposed of them neatly and without evidence, Canglan College would never know. What's more, even if the Canglan College knew of it, they did not have evidence and they would not admit to anything. What could they do? As long as he killed the group of students, he would find a great talent for his mercenary group. This did not seem like a bad trade. "Don't worry, I will help you out." Zhao Yihan's mouth rose in a cold smile. He immediately waved his hand, and members of the mercenary group stumbled out from behind him. Oh! Subtle footsteps stepped on the fallen leaves, and Bailey Hongzhuang could hear it. The other person had made his move. In the next moment, a black figure flashed like lightning. In the night, this black silhouette was extremely well hidden. Obviously, the other party had prepared well. "Fight!" Zhao Yihan made the order, and the mercenaries all took out their weapons. Chapter 428 Meeting Again. Gong Shaoqing in the chilly and sinister atmosphere of the mountains, the rays of moonlight made people unconsciously feel a sense of detachment. Zhao Yihan and the others had planned to sneak attack the group while they were sleeping. Such a thing would no doubt save them some trouble. However, when they rushed to the clearing where Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were, they discovered that the other party had already discovered their ambush. As soon as they appeared, Gong Shaoqing and others held up their weapons. Sure enough, they are students of the Canglan College. Their perception is sensitive. Although Zhao Yihan was somewhat surprised at the quick reaction of Gong Shaoqing and the others, he was not after thinking about it. After all, the special enrollment students of the Songlan College would naturally be stronger, otherwise, the fame of the special enrollment class would be embarrassing. Bailey Hong Zhuang stared at the stranger in front of her. Had she guessed wrong? She had never seen this guy. Not only Bailey Hong Zhuang, but Gong Xiaoqing and the others were filled with doubts too. In their impression, they did not have any clashes with this group of people in front of them. Making up their minds, they just treated them as fat pigs to be slaughtered. Who are you guys? Gong Xiaoqing's face was covered with a layer of ice. There is no enmity between us. Why are you attacking us so late at night? Zhao Yihan's eyes fell on Gong Xiaoqing's body. I really don't have any grudges with you, but since you and my brother have grudges, it is tantamount to having a grudge against me. As soon as they heard these words, everyone's expressions changed slightly. It could be said that the other party had deliberately come to make enemies. In the next moment, Yihu Cheng and Yin Haicheng, does anyone remember him? I don't, slowly appeared in front of everyone. Yihu Cheng. Gong Xiaoqing's voice was hard and cold, his icy eyes glaring at Yihu Cheng, full of disgust and contempt. Lu Qinyu's face also became pale. She felt like Yihu Cheng was a nightmare that would keep plaguing her. She had originally thought that after Yihu Cheng left the Songlan College, they would not have any more intersections. She never thought that Yihu Cheng would keep appearing in front of them like a ghost. Obviously, as long as the grudges between them were not settled, Yihu Cheng would keep following them. Thinking of this, Lu Qinyu's heart started panicking, and her face turned even uglier. Bailey Hong Zhuang could not help but look behind her at Lu Qinyu. Sure enough, she was panicking. As cultivators, they highly valued pride. The more Lu Qinyu retreated, the more Yihu Cheng would not let her go. Gong Xiaoqing, we meet again. Yihu Cheng gave a sneer. The moment he saw Gong Xiaoqing, the undisguised hatred in his eyes overflowed. Seeing Yihu Cheng's countenance, the faces of Cui Haoyin and Zhan Yufeng also changed a bit. Yihu Cheng's past was known to them. For Yihu Cheng's character, they had no words to say. In fact, the reason why Yihu Cheng had presently come to this stage was due to past incidents. Although he himself was not guiltless, it was undeniable that some part of the reason was Lu Qinyu. Yihu Cheng, you really are a ghost. Dong Fengyu's usually genial face disappeared in an instant. The lesson you were taught last time wasn't enough. Yihu Cheng burned with fury. If not for the sudden appearance of Bailey Hong Zhuang last time, could you really have escaped? Chapter 429 Trouble. Vicious Flames mercenary group hearing the words of Yihu Cheng. Everyone's eyes could not help but fall on Bailey Hong Zhuang's body. A trace of deep strangeness appeared in the eyes of Cui Haoyin and Zhan Yufeng. The last time when Yihu Cheng appeared, the situation actually changed due to the strength of Bailey Hong Zhuang. For a long time, they had only known that Bailey Hong Zhuang's skills were superb. Di Bei-chun was full of praise for the strength of his wife, or else how could they have become special enrollment students in the college? What's more, from the time he had seen Bailey Hong Zhuang cultivating at the waterfall, he had known that the strength of his wifey would not be weak. Talented cultivators were not necessarily strong, but hard-working cultivators were not weak. Yin Haicheng's vicious eyes glared at Bailey Hong Zhuang. If a glare full of hatred could kill a person, he would have already killed Bailey Hong Zhuang many times. Yihu Cheng, if you leave now, we won't have to fight, Cui Haoyin said slowly. Once we start fighting, it will be of no use to either of us. Listening to this, Yihu Cheng sneered. You guys have a good look. Now, we have more people than you. You will lose. Bailey Hong Zong looked at the situation in front of her. There were 15 mercenaries from the Vicious Flames mercenary group, plus Yihu Cheng and Yin Haicheng, so the other side had a total of 17 people. In contrast, there were only 9 people in their group. In terms of the number of people, the other party had an absolute advantage. Cui Haoyin brows rose. Even if you have the advantage of numbers, numbers do not represent strength. You were previously a student of Songlan College. You should be well aware of the strength of the people of Songlan College's special enrollment students. His words, made an unpleasant expression to appear on Zhao Yihan's face. The words of Cui Haoyin clearly insinuated that the strength of their mercenary group was weak. All of you in the school is just a group of weak young masters. Our Vicious Flames mercenary group is made of real fighters. You say we are weak? Zhao Yihan was angry, his eyes icy. In his view, they were powerful mercenaries who had killed many and faced life and death situations which hardened them. They were stronger than these young masters who enjoyed life with ease. After hearing the name of the Vicious Flames mercenary group, Gong Shaoqing's face changed a bit. They had a certain understanding of Vicious Flames mercenary group. They were able to suddenly rise to the top among the various mercenary groups, which proved the strength of the Vicious Flames mercenary group. I did not expect Hu Chung to have ties with the Vicious Flames mercenary group. Dong Fong Yu frowned. The base of the Vicious Flames mercenary group was not far from the base of the Luo Yun Mountains. Once a conflict arose, it would be impossible to avoid trouble. If you know about the Vicious Flames mercenary group, you should be clear about your own situation. Looking at the ugly expression of Gong Shaoqing, Hu Cheng's heart cannot help but feel ecstatic. Generally, Gong Shaoqing was expressionless. Now his cold mask had been completely torn off. Gong Shaoqing, I will give you two choices. Hu Cheng slowly put up a finger. First, you kneel down and apologize to me. Then hand over Lu Qinyu to me. Then these affronts will be written off. As he said this, Gong Shaoqing and others' faces were full of rage. Hu Cheng was honestly too much. Chapter 430 Hands-On. Lu Qinyu's face turned pale, her delicate features appearing even more tender and affectionate. She understands that Hu Cheng had long since held bitter hatred for her. Once she falls into the hands of Hu Cheng, she would be tortured inhumanly. Hu Cheng's cold eyes fell on the body of Lu Qinyu. Looking at Lu Qinyu, who seemed on the verge of crying, he felt very satisfied. Once, he was deceived by the delicate appearance of Lu Qinyu. Now, he would destroy these features himself. The second is that you all die, and Lu Qinyu still ends up at our mercy. Hu Cheng's lips arched in a sly smile, as if he knew that he had already won. He would take Lu Qinyu and make her suffer. You keep dreaming. Gong Shaoqing's knotted brows revealed his anger and disgust. He felt that this Hu Cheng was really repulsive. Yin Haicheng's eyes fell on the body of Bailey Hong Zhuang. Bailey Hong Zhuang, for what you have done to me, I will not let you off. Hearing this, the corners of Bailey Hong Zhuang's lips curved ever so slightly, revealing a trace of evilness and pride. If you had the ability, you would not have lost your hand. The last time I had only just started, and you lost an arm. This time, I won't go so easy on you. Bailey Hong Zhuang felt too lazy to waste time on the other party. Although the number of opponents was far greater than them, the end result had yet to be decided. What's more, there were the two teachers overseeing them. What did they have to be afraid of? They could directly fight. Xia Zhiqing's mouth was open wide. Bailey Hong Zhuang was really not like the average person, ah? After hearing the words of Bailey Hong Zhuang, the heavy emotions that Cui Haoyin and the others felt disappeared. Bailey Hong Zhuang was right. Since the contradiction between the two parties was irreconcilable, they would fight. Yin Haicheng's face was a bit ugly. He had intended to take advantage of this opportunity to goad Bailey Hong Zhuang. He had not expected that she would be so arrogant. Does Bailey Hong Zhuang even know the situation she was in right now? The eyes of Hu Cheng, who was looking at Bailey Hong Zhuang, also changed a bit. The last time Bailey Hong Zhuang had been a considerable variable. This time, too, Bailey Hong Zhuang's performance was completely different from other people. This woman was really not simple. In fact, Hu Cheng and the others had overlooked a person. That was Di Bei Chun, who was standing beside Bailey Hong Zhuang. From the beginning to the end, Di Bei Chun had not said a word. Not because he was too afraid, but he was simply too lazy to speak. These few jumping clowns dared to be so presumptuous. They were making a big joke of themselves. Since you don't know when to shut up, I will make you feel regret. Hu Cheng's face was dyed with wrath. and his gaze crossed to Zhao Yihan. Zhao Yihan nodded slightly. Waving his hands, he firmly and coldly said, "Hands on!" As Zhao Yihan's voice fell, the mercenaries behind him clasped their weapons without hesitation and rushed towards Beilihong Zhuang and the others. The atmosphere suddenly became tense, and a quietness spread. Not far away, Lu Huaiyin and Fu Hongbo were looking at this scene. Their expressions also changed slightly. It seems this is not the first time that Yihu Cheng has had a conflict with Gong Xiaoqing, Fu Hongbo said slowly. Lu Huaiyin glanced at Fu Hongbo. Now in this situation, should we interfere? Chapter 431, I didn't want to see you. We don't need to act unless it is very dangerous. Now that such a tricky situation has appeared, I believe that our students will be able to persist for a while. Lu Huaiyin nodded slightly. This had always been their intention. There is nothing wrong with the words of Zhao Yihan. Compared to mercenaries who were always facing dangerous situations, the students of Songlan College had much lesser experience. That is why the academy let them go out on this mission. In the battle of life and death, having guts to spill blood and courage is the most important. In the Shangxian continent, it was not uncommon for the young, inexperienced masters to die at the hands of weak but bloodthirsty mercenaries. If their students gave up at the very face of danger, then these students were not worth grooming. Sometimes a life and death experience could be of great benefit, as it could cause a surge in strength. Beilihong Zhuang is indeed different. Lu Huaiyan's words were full of appreciation. It was worth trying so hard to make her come to our college. Fu Hongbo nodded in agreement. She rejected us. Actually, her courage can be easily seen. If people were ridiculed all year round, their personalities would become weak and fragile. Beilihong Zhuang can be considered a rare type. In that environment, she not only did not lose her morale, but even had such great courage. I have always felt optimistic about such students. Lu Huaiyan's mouth curved in a smile. Originally, he had not thought that going to Fengbo country's imperial city would have any gains, but did not expect they would have such a huge profit. Fu Hongbo looked at Di Bei Chun pensively, slowly saying, "Di Bei Chun seems even more mysterious." From the moment Yihu Cheng and the others appeared, his expression has not changed at all. His expression is almost like he does not care. Lu Huaiyin shared his views with Fu Hongbo, yes. Fu Hongbo nodded. Generally, when someone encountered a situation like this, they would be nervous or worried, but Di Bei Chun was very indifferent. His confidence cannot be a bluff. He must, naturally, have a certain idea or measure. Lu Huaiyin smiled faintly. There are always some geniuses in the world that could not be comprehended. Yu Cheng directly faced Gong Xiaoqing. He had always wanted to compete with Gong Xiaoqing. This time he would surely be victorious. In just a few moments, Beilihong Zhuang and the others already had opponents facing them. Yin Haicheng stood in front of Beilihong Zhuang, his face full of resentment at seeing her beautiful face. "Beilihong Zhuang, we meet again." Yin Haicheng smirked. Beilihong Zhuang shrugged in indifference. "I didn't want to see you." Yin Haicheng turned stiff. Hearing such an eloquent retort, he couldn't form a single sentence. "Master, do we need help?" The eyes of the three little beasts flashed with excitement. The guy in front of them, a few slaps from them would be enough to teach him a lesson. Beilihong Zhuang shook her head slightly. "You can't act rashly. If you're noticed by other people, it won't be good." Xiao Hai and Xiao Bai were her trump cards. She won't use them so easily. Although the situation in front of them was tricky, it had not reached a stage of danger. What's more, this guy in front of her was not worth her time. The last time she hadn't pursued him, but this time she would not let him escape. Chapter 432 Domineering. Di Bei Chun, when they heard the words of Beilihong Zhuang, Xiao He and Xiao Bai felt helpless. It seemed that they would not be able to show off their skills once again. Bai Shi was now crouching on the shoulder of Beilihong Zhuang, smart eyes taking in everything. Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai could not come out because of their strange shape. If they looked a bit more like usual contractual beasts, the owner would have had no problem with letting them fight. Whether you wanted to see me or not, today you will die. Yin Haicheng looked gloomy and dark like a thundercloud. He liked seeing beauties, but he hated seeing Bailey Hong Zhuang. The facts had made him aware that he should not be deceived by Bailey Hong Zhuang's beauty. Bailey Hong Zhuang was not a good woman at all. Bailey Hong Zhuang had her hands on her hips as she looked at Gong, Xiao Qing, and the others who were fighting. There was a bit of contempt and impatience as she looked at him. I said, I will get rid of you. I don't want to accompany you for long. She wondered where Yihu Cheng had found Yin Haicheng, this idiot. Once again, he was beaten till he was black and blue, and she looked at the people around her. In fact, he had not been an opponent of Bailey Hong Zhuang even with an arm. What more now that he had lost one? I just wanted you to say a few more words before you die. Yin Haicheng insisted on his strength as he waved. Kill her. His voice fell, and two mercenaries behind Yin Haicheng came before Bailey Hong Zhuang. Bailey Hong Zhuang's eyes became darker. From the breath of the two mercenaries, she could determine the strength of the two. One was Mysterious Ian Middle Stage, and the other was a Mysterious Ian Late Stage Cultivator. It seemed that the strength of the mercenary group was really not simple. Bailey Hong Zhuang, next year, today will be your death anniversary. Yin Haicheng smirked. He would look on as Bailey Hong Zhuang died at the hands of these mercenaries. Not waiting for Bailey Hong Zhuang's reply, a slight voice sounded, and then the sound of a heavy object falling came. Boom! Bailey Hong Zhuang turned and saw that Yin Haicheng was lying on the ground, blood flowing out from his throat. Obviously, even if Yin Haicheng had screamed out loud, it would have been too late. He had already died. The dark, phoenix eyes were full of doubt. Bailey Hong Zhuang could not help but look at the other side from where Di Bei Chen winked at her. Needless to say, the person who had shot just now was Di Bei Chen. Bailey Hong Zhuang grinned warmly. Yin Haicheng had been too noisy, so straightforwardly he solved him. Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai could not help but give thumbs up. Di Bei Chen was really domineering. This attack had been really neat. However, the two mercenaries in front of Bailey Hong Zhuang were dumbfounded. What is this ghost? They didn't see anybody at all. How did Yin Haicheng die? The two mercenaries had to protect him. The two people were dazed, and it was enough for Bailey Hong Zhuang. The power in her body surging in a flash, she held a sword in her hand, directly thrusting it towards the two people. The two mercenaries felt they were in danger and could no longer be bothered with Yin Haicheng. They clenched their hands on their weapons and turned to Bailey Hong Zhuang. Oh! The sound of iron cutting through air sounded, and Bailey Hong Zhuang transformed into a shadow. Her figure was like a ghost. Even if the sneak attack had succeeded, the mercenaries would not have won. Chapter 433, You are too naive. The two mercenaries only saw a red figure flickering around them like a shadow, none of their attacks yielding the effect they wanted, and their faces turned a bit ugly. Bailey Hong Zhuang was only at the Mysterious Ian Middle Stage. One of them was equal to her in strength, and the other was even stronger than Bailey Hong Zhuang. Now that the two had teamed up to take down Bailey Hong Zhuang, it turned out that they were not even opponent of Bailey Hong Zhuang. Is this a joke? Stormbreaker, a dominating force of Yuan, Li emerged from Bailey Hong Zhuang's body. The tyrannical force directly hit one of the mercenaries. According to her thoughts, fighting with two people was a bit tricky, not to mention that these two had only been fighting for a short while, but they had very good cooperation. Since they cannot be defeated at the same time, they could only be dealt with one by one. Sure enough, the man at the Mysterious Ian Middle Stage was panicking at the martial arts displayed by Bailey Hong Zhuang. His hands came forward to ward off against it as he displayed a martial art. Boom! The two martial arts met in midair, and the mighty power from it exploded in an instant. The man stepped back a few steps, his face flushed. His mouth was filled with metallic sweetness, but he swallowed hard. Obviously, this collision had caused the man to suffer from internal injuries. Bailey Hong Zhuang looked indifferent, but she was a little proud of herself. Mercenaries walked on the edge of life and death. Although their fighting experience was stronger than that of young masters, they also have a weakness. That is, their cultivation resources cannot be compared to that of young masters. Her Stormbreaker was a yellow middle-stage martial art, and the opponent's martial arts was just at the beginning of the yellow level. So when the two collided, it was needless to say what would happen. Seeing his companion hurt, the cultivator at Mysterious Ian late stage rushed towards Bailey Hong Zhuang, a bit of anger in his eyes. "You dare to hurt my brother. I will not let you go." Bailey Hong Zhuang glanced at that person coldly. "Then it is all right for you to kill me, and not for me to hurt you? What you think is really too naive." "Really?" the man said coldly. "You cultivation stage will not be my opponent. You are just blabbering now." Bailey Hong Zhuang sneered, her face displaying her contempt. Since it is an opponent, there was no room for mercy. The next moment, Bailey Hong Zhuang disappeared from where she was as she turned into a shadow, appearing behind the man. There were swords in her hand, and she did not plan to waste too much time on this. "Oh!" The man's stature moved as he tried to move, but he still received a huge wound on his left arm. Looking at the wound on his arm, the man's eyes hardened. If he had been half a second late, he feared that he would have lost his life. All along, he had been very disdainful of students in the school, thinking that they only depended on family resources to cultivate. If there are no family resources, they can do nothing at all. However, at the moment, when he saw Bailey Hong Zhuang, he could not help but change his mind. Bailey Hong Zhuang's cultivation stage was lower than hers, but fighting power was stronger than him. This was enough to prove her strength. During the fighting between Bailey Hong Zhuang and that man, Dong Fengyu and the others also fought in full swing with the other mercenaries. Gong Shaoqing and Yihu Cheng were still fighting each other, and Dong Fengyu showed no signs of defeat. Chapter 434. The two mercenaries. Although Xia Zhiqing was slightly lacking, she and Bai Junyu jointly dealt with 3 mercenaries as they supported each other. There was naturally nothing to be said about the understanding of Cui, Hao Yin, and Zhang Yunfeng. Instead, Lu Qinyu was unable to withstand the attack on her side and was in danger. When Yihu Cheng appeared, Lu Qinyu was in a chaotic position, and she could not fully display her strength. Dibei Chen met with Zhao Yihan, the second head of the Vicious Flames mercenary group. However, Zhao Yihan's heart was a stormy sea. Originally, in his opinion, Gong Shaoqing was simply not strong enough. As long as Yihu Cheng blocked Gong Shaoqing and the others blocked Dong Fengyu and Cui Haoyin, they had won. However, he had not expected that these guys would be so difficult to deal with. It was reasonable to say that with his strength being at Mysterious Ian late stage, the other party would simply not be his opponent. Unfortunately, the guy in front of him completely blocked his offensive. Not only that, no matter how he moves, the guy only resisted indifferently. Instinctively, he had a feeling that the strength of Dibei Chen had completely surpassed his, which is why he was so poised. He had always been the stronger party, but now he had met someone far stronger. Since Dibei Chen's strength was so much stronger than his, he would have been defeated directly. Instead, he was being played like a cat or dog. He was the second in command of a Vicious Flames mercenary group. He wanted to get rid of Dibei Chen, but he could not do it at all. At this moment, he felt extremely regretful. If he had known earlier, he would have never chosen to fight Dibei Chen. Isn't this trapping a person? Boom! The sound of a heavy object falling sounded, and Bailey Hong Zhuang slowly pulled the sharp sword in her hand. Looking at the corpse on the ground, the expression of the man in front of her became ugly. He never imagines that Bailey Hong Zhuang could actually kill him. When he looked up again and saw Bailey Hong Zhuang, his expression was completely different. Even a cultivator at Mysterious Ian late stage died in the hands of Bailey Hong Zhuang. He was not her opponent at all. The eyes of Bailey Hong Zhuang glinted with coldness, and the guy in front of her blinked in fear. This man had already given up the idea of fighting. In the next moment, the man ran away in an instant as he did not have the courage to fight Bailey Hong Zhuang. Seeing the man flee, Bailey Hong Zhuang did not give chase. According to her judgment, the mercenary had no intention of fighting. Even if he continued to stay here, he would not be able to fight at all. She turned a blind eye and looked at the people around her who were fighting. Xia Jiqing and Bai Jun, you had a good understanding. They naturally did not need help, and Gong Shaoqing and the others were fully capable of coping. In the end, Bailey Hong Zhuang's eyes fell on Lu Qinyu. At the moment, Lu Qinyu was facing an attack by a mercenary in the mysterious Ian late stage. After discovering the strength of the mercenary, Bailey Hong Zhuang was surprised. The strength of the mercenaries was indeed good. Although these mercenaries were older than they are and will not have a strong future in cultivation, but among mercenaries, this strength was already very good. No wonder the mercenary group was able to become one of the 3 major groups in a short period of time. Chapter 435 Spicy. I like it. After analyzing Lu Qinyu's stand, Bailey Hong Zhuang shook her head. Quite logically, even though both her and the mercenary were at mysterious Ian late stage, and Lu Qinyu's lack of experience in battles, if she had relied on her level of martial arts, Lu Qinyu would not have been forced backward step by step. She could have had the upper hand, but the opportunity was now lost. It seemed that Lu Qinyu had no way to fight back against the other side. Bailey Hong Zhuang suddenly felt that Lu Qinyu's psychological tolerance and character would be more appropriate for becoming an alchemist. Compared to becoming a cultivator, Lu Qinyu obviously had a more promising path as a pharmacist. In the next moment, Bailey Hong Zhuang appeared next to Lu Qinyu. Seeing Bailey Hong Zhuang appear, Lu Qinyu could not help but be relieved, but she was also slightly embarrassed. The last time Yihu Cheng and his lackeys appeared, it had been Bailey Hong Zhuang who helped her defeat her opponent. In fact, her strength was even higher than Bailey Hong Zhuang, but she still needed Bailey Hong Zhuang's help. She was really embarrassed. If she could choose, she does not want Bailey Hong Zhuang to help her. After all, as a proud woman, she had a certain degree of self-esteem in her heart. However, the reality was the reality. She did not know why she turned weak whenever they appeared. Yi Zhao looked at the beautiful appearance of Bailey Hong Zhuang, a feeling of desire appearing in his eyes. I did not expect that my blessings would be so good. To deal with a beautiful woman, I did not expect to have a beautiful woman again. After listening to Yi Zhao's words, Bailey Hong Zhuang's face turned frosty. This man was really annoying. Lu Qinyu looked helplessly at Bailey Hong Zhuang. She was really struggling to find words. Yi Zhao had some complacency, but he really liked beautiful people. Whether it was Lu Qinyu or Bailey Hong Zhuang, they were both rare beauties. The women among the mercenaries did not hold a candle. Bailey Hong Zhuang's mouth curved in an enchanting smile as she laughed, leaving Yi Zhao stunned, but Bailey Hong Zhuang's next words left Yi Zhao's face ugly to the extreme. What good blessings are you talking about? Having to face me, it must be your misfortune. Yi Zhao's face changed a bit, but then he calmed his mind and smiled again. Little spicy, I like that too. Idiot. Bailey Hong Zhuang was simply too lazy to care for this guy. This kind of brain guy, even his strength was not very good. Next time, Bailey Hong Zhuang directly lifted her long sword as she unhesitatingly stabbed towards the guy. Such a beautiful person even has the guts to attack me first. Yi Zhao smiled, not putting Bailey Hong Zhuang's attack in his eyes. If he saw how his other comrade at the mysterious Ian late stage had died in the hands of Bailey Hong Zhuang, he would no longer dare to be this carefree. For Yi Zhao's mistake of underestimating her, Bailey Hong Zhuang did not care. She never cared for the enemy because she could save more effort that way. Stormbreaker. Bailey Hong Zhuang barked coldly, the martial arts slamming towards Yi Zhao. Chapter 436 Amazing. Bailey Hong Zhuang feeling the energy of Stormbreaker. Yi Zhao's expression changed in a few moments. From the energy fluctuations of the martial arts, he could clearly feel that this was a yellow-level middle-grade martial arts. Breaking the clouds. Yi Zhao's body quickly surged, sharp energy coming out from him like a razor's blade, the fluctuations distracting everyone. When the energy of his martial arts erupted, the two collided in a storm. In an instant, clouds of smoke began to blow up as yellow dust covered the sky, obscuring everyone's vision. Yi Zhao retreated, a faint glowing light appearing in his eyes. Although it was a martial arts only at the bottom of a yellow tier, he had been practicing it for a long time. Even if the level of Bailey Hongzhuang's martial arts was stronger than him, her cultivation level could not compare. Therefore, in this round of competition, the winner must be him. With your strength, you are not my opponent at all. Yi Zhao smirked, looking proudly at the other side where the flower-like beauty, Lu Qinyu, stood, an indescribable pride emerging in his heart. Listening to Yi Zhao's words, Lu Qinyu's face became pale. Did Bailey Hongzhuang really get seriously hurt while fighting Yi Zhao? Could she have fallen? Little beauty, at the moment, no one can save you. If you beg me, maybe I will spare you. Yi Zhao walked proudly towards Lu Qinyu. Compared to the hard-headed Bailey Hongzhuang, Lu Qinyu, who was unable to rebel, could give him far greater pleasure. You keep dreaming, Lu Qinyu said in a cold tone, but her slightly trembling voice revealed her lack of confidence. Suddenly, Lu Qinyu's face changed because she was shocked to find that she could see Bailey Hongzhuang's figure in the gradually setting smoke, her stature clearly behind Yi Zhao. Oh, a slightly surprised voice sounded, and Yi Zhao's eyes were etched with an even deeper surprise. He slowly looked down at his chest, where the bloody tip of a sword was revealed, and severe pain spread throughout his body. Laughable. Bailey Hongzhuang relentlessly withdrew her sword. This guy must be happy that the fight ended early. Yi Zhao turned his head, looking at the unforgivable appearance of Bailey Hongzhuang. He was completely stunned. Scum like you go to hell sooner, so as to not harm other people. Bailey Hongzhuang looked coldly at Yi Zhao, as she mercilessly left, as if staying there further would insult her, and looking at him would make her sick. Looking at the imposing and powerful stance of Bailey Hongzhuang, shock appeared in Lu Qinyu's heart. She finally understood why the two mentors had insisted on recruiting Bailey Hongzhuang, even after being rejected by her. The strength of Bailey Hongzhuang is really applaudable. Lu Huaiyan's eyes looked admiringly at Bailey Hongzhuang's decisive nature. Few would hesitate before mercilessly killing another. It was reasonable to say that students her age would be unable to do it. However, Bailey Hongzhuang had no problem at all. Not only that, she was very calm even when engaged in battle, and she was able to completely display her strength. Fu Hongbo's eyes shined brightly. Compared to her, Lu Qinyu's ability to face the enemy is not good. Lu Huaiyan nodded. In fact, all students would face problems similar to Lu Qinyu's without adequate experience. Bailey Hongzhuang is amazing. Chapter 437 Wi-Fi. You are strong. A wide smile slowly emerged on Lu Huaiyan's face. He was very pleased to see her performance as a mentor. The mental fortitude of Bailey Hongzhuang is very strong. Just like when we saw her in the royal hunting game, the first time when she was surrounded by the wicked wolves, even experienced cultivators could lose their calm and be unable to do it. It's true that Bailey Hongzhuang is indeed a rare fighting genius. Fu Hongbo's face also revealed a smile. Although the cultivation level of Bailey Hongzhuang was not strong enough, it was only a question of time before it would be. The next moment, Fu Hongbo's eyes fell on the body of Dibei Chun. Not only Bailey Hongzhuang, Dibei Chun is also a genius. Lu Huaiyan and Fu Hongbo glanced at each other. The two really deserved to be husband and wife. The people of Fengbo Country's imperial city had paired Bailey Hongzhuang and Dibei Chun together as a joke. One was the waste of the general's manor, and the other was a disabled prince. Let's put them together. After seeing the way Bailey Hongzhuang encountered the man while fighting, Dibei Chun made short work of Zhao Yihan. In a few moments, he was by the side of Bailey Hongzhuang. Wifey, Your strength is really good. His star-like eyes flashed with admiration. In the time he had not been by her side, the strength of Bailey Hong Zhuang had progressed rapidly. Hearing that, Bailey Hong Zhuang glanced at Di Bei Chun, her gaze deep. Compared to you, my strength is far behind. With her current strength, she could not judge the strength of Di Bei Chun at all. This proved that the disparity between their strengths was large. Di Bei Chun smiled and said, "What will wifey do next? Since they came here, let us solve this problem fast." After Zhao Yihan had been bested by Di Bei Chun, his face quickly became pale. Di Bei Chun's moves seemed simple and powerful, but he could still feel the burning pain in his body. Apparently, he had suffered multiple internal injuries. At the time, he discovered that their mercenary group had already lost 2 members, and both the 2 mercenaries were at mysterious Ian Lat stage. As cultivators, even though they were only a mercenary group, the death of a member could cause a huge loss. He did not expect that now 2 of them would have died. Taking advantage of Di Bei Chun and Bailey Hong Zhuang's relaxed stances, he suddenly found that the original situation had now tipped in their favor. Just ready to fight again, Zhao Yihan felt pain rushing through his body. Obviously, Di Bei Chun's moves had hidden secrets. He was afraid that he would be unable to use Yuan Li for a few hours. Xia Qing and the others who were still fighting saw Bailey Hong Zhuang and Di Bei Chun's awesome power. As a result, their morale rose sharply, and the speed of their movements increased. On the other hand, the mercenaries of the Vicious Flame mercenary group could not help but feel a trace of fear. The 2 heads of the mercenary team had already suffered serious injuries. As long as Di Bei Chun started fighting again, they would not stand a chance. "Oh, as Dongfang you killed a mercenary." Zhao Yihan's face became dark to the extreme. "Stop!" Zhao Yihan suddenly shouted. When they heard Zhao Yihan's orders, the mercenaries of the Vicious Flames group retreated to Zhao Yihan's side. Yu Chung frowned and looked at Zhao Yihan. He did not understand why Zhao Yihan had suddenly issued such an order. Chapter 438 Retreat. Vicious Flames mercenaries. "Brother Zhao, what are you doing?" Yu Chung asked in a loud voice. Zhao Yihan was also struggling in his heart. He had promised Yu Chung that he would kill Gong Shaoqing and the others, but he had never thought that the Gong Shaoqing and others' strength would be so powerful. The clash had resulted in 4 of their members dying. If this trend of defeat kept repeating and they continued to fight, they would only have more losses. They had lost 3 members who were at the mysterious Ian late stage. They would not be able to bear any further losses. If they continued to fight, it is likely they would be annihilated. Then, it would be too late for regret. Yu Chung was a cultivator at the mysterious Ian middle stage. He naturally wanted to recruit him into their mercenary group. However, their defeat was now inevitable and the outcome could not be changed. If he continued to let everyone fight, more of his brothers would undoubtedly die. "Brother E, we will withdraw for today," Zhao Yihan said. Their predictions were wrong. Before, he had thought that Gong Shaoqing was the strongest cultivator amidst their ranks. As long as Yu Chung kept Gong Shaoqing occupied, they would win without a doubt. After the fight, he discovered that the strongest one was not Gong Shaoqing, but Di Bei Chun. Even if he had fought Di Bei Chun for quite some while, he could still not find out the true strength of Di Bei Chun. Obviously, the moment Di Bei Chun started fighting, their group had already lost. "What?" Yu Chung asked, unwilling. He had managed to get to this point. How could he easily give up? "We have to go back," Zhao Yihan said with seriousness. They couldn't succeed today, but as long as they prepared more, it would not be impossible for them to succeed. Gong Shaoqing and the others looked at Zhao Yihan and the others with icy eyes. Zhao Yihan's actions did not surpass their expectations and made them feel relieved. Yu Chung saw that Zhao Yihan's mind had been made up. Although he was unwilling in his heart, he was helpless. After all, one person alone could not be an opponent of Gong Shaoqing and the others. Seeing Yu Chung agree, Zhao Yihan was also relieved, Waving his hand, he ordered, "We are going." The members of the Vicious Flames mercenary group had long resigned themselves. The moment they hear the command of Zhao Yihan, they quickly retreated. That speed, it was much faster than when they rushed here. "We won't chase them?" Xia Zhiqing saw that no one made any moves and could not help but ask. Gong Xiaoqing shook his head. "They have so many people fleeing everywhere. It doesn't make sense for us to chase after them. Even if they did catch up, they would only kill 1 or 2 members of the Vicious Flames mercenary group. What was the point in that? We will regroup for now and continue our expedition." The crowd nodded. The miasma forest was the most important goal of their trip. It can be said that Yihu Cheng will not easily abandon his pursuit. From now on, we have to be even more careful. They can come trouble us anytime. Di Bei Chen reminded. Although he did not know what exactly happened between Yihu Cheng, Gong Xiaoqing, and Lu Qinyu, in his opinion, Yihu Cheng and Gong Xiaoqing were irreconcilable. In other words, as long as Yihu Cheng does not die, the contradiction between him and Gong Xiaoqing would continue. Gong Xiaoqing's eyes flashed with a touch of complex light. He too understood Di Bei Chen's words. Chapter 439, Unwilling. Yihu Cheng. They all knew that Yihu Cheng's departure would only be temporary, but considering the current events, they had no alternative. Unless they had a way to defeat the entire Vicious Flames mercenary group, they should now continue walking towards their destination, since time was short. They were now deep in the forests and could not afford wasting time. Looking at the limp bodies of the fallen mercenaries on the ground, the gazes of the people looking at Bailey Hongzhuang and Di Bei Chun changed a bit. They all understood that the reason why the Vicious Flames mercenary group had retreated was entirely because of Bailey Hongzhuang's and Di Bei Chen's efforts. If it were not for them, then the fight would not have ended in a short time. At this moment, everyone felt that Di Bei Chen and Bailey Hongzhuang were a match made in heaven, both extraordinary and enchanting. This thick stench of blood will easily attract wicked. I think we should now go, and then we can later rest when we find a suitable place. What do you think? Dong Fangyu was concerned and asked for everyone's views. Everyone nodded in agreement. Wicked were most perceptive to the smell of blood. They should really not stay in this place any longer. Immediately afterward, the team reorganized themselves and set off in the direction of the miasma forest. The retreat of Zhao Yihan and the others filled Yihu Cheng with reluctance and resentment. He could not go against Zhao Yihan's decision. He could only lament that his own strength was not good enough. If he could have killed Gong Xiaoqing, this incident would not have blown to this proportion. After running for some distance and finding that Gong Xiaoqing and the others had not yet caught up, Yihu Cheng stopped. "Leader Zhao, firstly I would like to thank you for your favor. I will go now," Yihu Cheng said. Seeing that Yihu Cheng was ready to leave, Zhao Yihan quickly said, "Brother, please wait." Yihu Cheng lifted his eyes, his face revealing his helplessness and determination. "Leader Zhao, I will think of ways to deal with Gong Xiaoqing. I will remember this friendship. If I succeed, I will, of course, come to join your Vicious Flames mercenary group, if at the time the mercenary group will still have me." Zhao Yihan patted Yihu Cheng's shoulder. "Brother, what are you talking about? Since I promised to help you, I will naturally not let them go." Hearing this, Yihu Cheng's eyes filled with hope, unable to help himself from asking, "Really? Are you really willing to continue helping me?" Zhao Yihan nodded. "Naturally, it is true. You must first listen to what I have to say." Yihu Cheng was beaming as he looked at the other man. Zhao Yihan was cold and decisive, and with his strength, killing Gong Xiaoqing would not be too difficult. "Yihu, I now have a measure of Gong Xiaoqing's strength. Currently, our strength is not enough to fight them, and if we go back to look for our people, I'm afraid it would be too late." Yihu Cheng nodded in agreement. Even if the base of the Vicious Flames mercenary group was not far from here, it would still take 1 day to go back. When they came back, Di Bei Chun and the others would have long disappeared. Then, what should we do? Ihu Chung frowned. So to say, they did not have a chance of defeating them this time. Zhao Yihan's eyes glimmered with pride. Such opponents can only be defeated using wits and dirty tricks. We are now among the top mercenary groups. We naturally have our own methods. Chapter 440 Zhao Yihan's means Ihu Chung listened to Zhao Yihan's words, and the more he listened, the brighter his entire person became. It turned out that the Vicious Flames mercenary group had a sort of special liquid which was both colorless and odorless, making it impossible for others to detect. The liquid had a magical effect. It could attract the attention of Wicked. If the beast was one from the deeper reaches of the Luo Yun Mountains, it would be a nightmare. It was due to this liquid that the Vicious Flames mercenary group was able to rise high in the ranks in such a short period of time. It even made the other mercenary groups unwilling to deal with them, making them untouchable, because this liquid made people completely invincible. Previously, Zhao Yihan had arranged for mercenaries to smear this liquid onto the clothes of Gong Shaoqing and the others. That is to say, Gong Shaoqing and the others will now be frequently attacked by Wicked. Yu Cheng's words could not hide his excitement. This was good news for him. He had not expected the second head of the Vicious Flames mercenary group to be this perceptive. Zhao Yihan nodded his head with a smile. Yes, today they will be frequently attacked by Wicked. As a result, a lot of their energy will be consumed and their combat effectiveness will be greatly reduced. Not only that, Wicked were nocturnal and frequently appeared during that time. At that time, as they went into the deeper reaches of Luo Yun Mountains, they would be attacked many times by Wicked. We will wait patiently. We will wait until they are exhausted. And then it will be easy as pie to win. Ihu Chung repeatedly nodded, his face full of admiration. Leader Zhao, you are really wise. Since we have planned what to do, we should prepare a bit more. Zhao Yihan waved his hand, his expression changing to one of gloom. We, the brothers of Vicus Flame's mercenary group, can't die. Listening to this, Ihu Cheng's eyes were filled with even more hatred. Previously, he had only hated Gong Shaoqing and Lu Qinyu, but now he added Bailey Hong Zhuang into his list of despicable people. If it hadn't been for Bailey Hong Zhuang, as early as the last time, his strategy would have been successful. This time they had failed again because of the interference of Bailey Hong Zhuang. Bailey Hong Zhuang and the others made their way to the Miasma Forest according to the route marked on the map. The Miasma Forest was located at the center of the Luo Yun mountain ranges. Although they were still a considerable distance from reaching the center, they had met Wicked, which were extremely strong. After killing a Wicked again, Cui Haoyin took out the demon crystal, cleaning it, and then threw it towards Baishur, who was lazing in Bailey Hong Zhuang's arms. In this short period of time, the people in the team got to know that Baishur loved to eat demon crystals. Although it was not clear why Baishur, who was still very young, could swallow demon crystals so easily, since Bailey Hong Zhuang did not object, there should naturally not be any problem. At that moment, everyone was aware of the reason why Bailey Hong Zhuang purchased so many demon crystals. They were all for the little guy whose rate of demon crystal consumption was very quick. Cui Haoyin had always been grateful to Bailey Hong Zhuang for saving his life, so he directly gave Baishur all the demon crystals he collected. Baishur caught the demon crystal with excitement. It then decided that coming to the Luo Yun Mountains was its favorite thing to do. There appeared to demon crystals everywhere. The depths of the Luo Yun Mountains are really unusual. The frequency of Wicked is so high. Xia Zhiqing's face was full of emotion. Chapter 441 Wi-Fi. Need my help? Listening to Xia Zhiqing's words, Bailey Hong Zhuang's and others' brows wrinkled. If they thought about it, the frequency of Wicked attacks today was really too high. They had also fought Wicked the previous day, but the number had been few. The number of attacks today was a lot larger than yesterday's. Although they had now entered the true depths of the mountains, and it was inevitable for the number of encounters with Wicked increasing, the number right now was too exaggerated. They had been this deep before, but the number of Wicked had been far from the current number. Suddenly, there are too many Wicked. This is weird. Her dark phoenix-like eyes flashed with contemplation. Bailey Hong Zhuang thought of the reason why the number of attacks was so abnormally high. She had a kind of intuition that things were not as simple as they thought. Master, when you were fighting with mercenaries of that mercenary group, I discovered something very strange, Xiaobai suddenly said. Bailey Hong Zhuang's brows wrinkled even more as she frowned. What weird thing? I found that they were very keen to touch your clothes when they were fighting with you. Xiaobai's voice was filled with doubts. Since they had not fought, they could only watch on as others fought. In the process of watching the fight, it noticed this. And even after 500 chapters, I failed to discover what gender Xiaobai and Xiaohei were, so I will use gender neutral for them. Yes, Master, I too noticed this. Xiaohei nodded. Clothes. Bailey Hong Zhuang's brows lifted slightly. It was reasonable to say that there was no need to touch the opponent's clothes while fighting with swords. She believed that Xiaohei and Xiaobai's vision will never be misconstrued, and recalled that the two mercenaries she had engaged in battle with had actually touched her clothes with their hands. Suddenly, a thought flashed in Bailey Hong Zhuang's mind, faintly guessing a possibility in her heart. Could it be that they left behind some kind of special material on us? Special material? Xiaohei and Xiaobai looked at each other. They didn't know what their master was referring to. As a doctor, Bailey Hong Zhuang was most sensitive to this kind of thing. In this world, there were a lot of odorless and colorless poisons that could kill people. She too had a lot of means like this. Since she had these means, then the mercenary group may have it too. Di Beichen looked at the constantly changing expressions on Bailey Hong Zhuang's face and softly asked, Did Lady find something? Bailey Hong Zhuang lifted her eyes to look at Di Beichen. I have a guess, but I can't be sure. Saying this, the corners of Bailey Hong Zhuang's mouth lifted in an ambiguous arc. To verify that I am accurate, I need your help. Oh. Di Beichen's brows raised, his eyes deep and bright. With an indulging smile, he said, Since wifey needs husband's help, I will naturally not deny. Your strength is the strongest, and it would be most convenient for you to do this. Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled and told him her thoughts. You mean that our clothes have been smeared with some kind of special material by the mercenaries of the Vicious Flames mercenary group? Sought that it will attract Wicked? Di Beichen asked. Yes, Bailey Hong Zhuang nodded. Don't you think the frequency of attacks is too exaggerated? Wifey is right. Di Beichen smiled devilishly, his handsome face appearing both charming and elegant at the same time. I'll help Lady determine if her guess is accurate. Chapter 442, Did You Quarrel? The next moment, Di Beichen suddenly came forward, and his stature disappeared in an instant from in front of everybody's eyes. Seeing the sudden departure of Di Beichen, a tinge of doubt emerged in everybody's eyes. Hong Zhuang, why did Di Beichen leave so suddenly? Xia Jiqing walked to Bailey Hong Zhuang's side and expressed her confusion as she questioned. When Xia Jiqing asked this question, Gong Xiaoqing and the others too looked at Bailey Hong Zhuang. They had only noticed Bailey Hong Zhuang exchange a few words with Di Beichen before Di Beichen suddenly left. It was a bit strange. We are now very deep in the Luo Yun Mountains. It will be dangerous since Di Beichen has left alone. Bai Juyu frowned, his usually sunny face revealing his worry. You did not quarrel, right? Hearing his words, the expressions of the people around became a bit weird. Since Di Beichen first came to Songlan College, they found that Di Beichen would always stick close to Bailey Hong Zhuang. They also noticed that Di Beichen was very considerate towards Bailey Hong Zhuang. However, Bailey Hong Zhuang did not seem to reciprocate the same emotions or give any sort of special indication. Contradictions between husband and wife were a common thing. Perhaps a conflict had risen between the two, and so Di Beichen had left. Bailey Hong Zhuang saw that everyone seemed to believe that they had fought, and she couldn't help becoming somewhat dumbfounded. You're thinking too much. I am just letting Bei Chun test something out for me, Bailey Hong Zhuang explained. Test? Bai Junyu's eyes widened. What test? Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled faintly. After he returns, I will know. Listening to Bailey Hong Zhuang's reply, everyone was relieved. The things between a husband and wife were not simple. They were complex and complicated. If they had a fight at this time, then they would be in trouble. Whatever you say, it is dangerous for Bei Chun to leave alone. We could have helped. Cui Hao Yin and Bai Junyu expressed their concern. Even though their strength was not bad, once they encounter a powerful and cunning wicked, there was no absolute certainty that they would leave unharmed. Bailey Hong Zhuang waved her hat. He will be back soon, don't worry. With the strength of Bei Chun, she truly believed that the wicked nearby would pose no threat to him. If even this was difficult for him, what was the use of having a special physique? The team continued to move forward. Gong Xiaoqing and Dong Fangyu looked at each other, both their eyes flashing with a hint of surprise. Others might not have paid attention, but they had noticed the speed at which Bei Chun had left. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared from in front of their eyes. That speed was not one ordinary people could compare to. Even the two of them absolutely couldn't achieve that speed. Bei Chun really was a mystery. After half an hour, Bei Chun reappeared in front of everyone. That unparalleled and handsome face was still indifferent and elegant, not even the slightest bit different. From his clothes, it didn't seem as if he had fought with any wicked. Wifey, I'm back. Bei Chun's lips were slightly lifted, his eyes shining like stars, reflecting Bailey Hong Zhuang's figure in them. It was like he only had eyes for Bailey Hong Zhuang. Xia Zhiqing and Zhang Yunfeng both looked at Bailey Hong Zong and Bei Chun. Bei Chun was really good towards of Bailey Hong Zhuang. No matter where, and when his first thought was always Bailey Hong Zhuang. This alone was enough to make them envious. What was the result? Her delicate face was filled with curiosity as Bailey Hong Zhuang asked that question. Chapter 443 Tampered Clothes. Bei Chun narrowed his eyes devilishly before his face showed a bit of sadness. Wifey only cares about the results and does not care about me at all. The husband is very sad right now. Bailey Hong Zhuang's beautiful eyes changed a little. Although she knew that the sadness on this guy's face was just bogus, he really seemed to be overdoing it. Then, you weren't injured when you were testing my theory, right? Said Bailey Hong Zhuang with an unnatural expression. A bright and charming smile lit up Bei Chun's face. Lady is so concerned about me that husband's heart is moved. However, with husband's skills, it was naturally not dangerous, and he would not be hurt. Bailey Hong Zhuang really did not want to talk to this person again. Wasn't he just trying to tease her, ah? And why did his face look like that? Xia Zhiqing looked at the interaction between Bailey Hong Zhuang and Bei Chun, and a smile couldn't help but grace her face. Bei Chun was really very interesting. Every day, no matter how cold Bailey Hong Zhuang tried to act, he wouldn't give up and acted shamelessly as he pursued her. This situation should be a match made in heaven, right? What's more, Bei Chun was a very outstanding individual. Even though the entire college knows that he already has a wife, she still sees female students expressing their feelings to Bei Chun. She found that Bei Chun's treatment of Bailey Hong Zhuang and other women was basically on two different planes. Faced with other women's confessions, Bei Chun's face would be indifferent from beginning to end, never showing a smile, even refusing to give an answer, simply too lazy to speak. However, in front of Bailey Hong Zhuang, Bei Chun became a shameless rascal. It was because of this that she feels that Bei Chun truly loved Bailey Hong Zhuang. With Bailey Hong Zhuang being so outstanding if the other person does not treat her well and truthfully with all their heart and soul. Wasn't it too woeful? Looking at Xia Zhiqing's smile, Bai Junyu smiled too. Xia Zhiqing blinked at Bai Junyu's smile. She thought that Bai Junyu and she were both interested in the relationship between Bailey Hong Zhuang and Di Bei Chun, but she was unaware that by June you was smiling because of her. Can you tell me the results of the test now? Bailey Hong Zhuang's face revealed a bit of helplessness. She found that she really had no way to get around Di Bei Chun. Di Bei Chun nodded. He felt that Bailey Hong Zhuang's helpless faces were particularly adorable. His lady was always stubborn, but she was not without emotions. As you guessed, our clothes were tampered with. Di Bei Chun said serious, his joking face disappearing in a moment. According to Bailey Hong Zhuang, he went ahead on his own and discovered that many wicked appeared and attacked him. From his experience of walking in these mountains, he tried his best to avoid them, but they always seemed to know where he was, catching up with him wherever he went. Then, after he changed his clothes and threw his previous clothes into his yin-yang pouch, those whelps never appeared again. Obviously, the problem was with his clothes. Bailey Hong Zhuang's clear and refined face was not surprised in the least. There was a hint of chilliness in her expression as she sneered. They must have wanted us to waste our energy this way. Chapter 444 Impressive, Bailey Hong Zhuang. In that case, they should not be far from us. Di Bei Chin's lips curved up into an evil smile. His judgment was correct. Yihu Chung and others would not be willing to leave so easily. Bailey Hong Zhuang and Di Bei Chin looked at each other. In fact, they had been expecting this. I believe they must be waiting until we are exhausted to appear again. Now that they are hidden, it will be very difficult for us to find them. Bailey Hong Zhuang's eyes sparkled with wisdom. We can only wait for them to show themselves. Di Bei Chin's lips were slightly curved, his deep and dark eyes full of appreciation. His wife was really brilliant. If it weren't for the fact that Bailey Hong Zhuang had noticed the problem with their clothes, he was afraid that they would have never found. After being appraised by Di Bei Chun, Bailey Hong Zhuang slowly expressed her thoughts to everyone. When the others heard Bailey Hong Zhuang's conjecture, everyone's faces invariably changed colors. The reason why we are being attacked by so many wicked is that something has been smeared onto our clothes. Cui Haoyan's face expressed his shock. Before that, they had not thought anything was abnormal about their clothes. Bailey Hong Zhuang's face was serious. I had previously sent Di Bei Chan in order to test if my theory was correct. It seems that it is correct. Don't you all think that the wicked today are too strange? Just a simple question, and everyone believed Bailey Hong Zhuang's words. You are right. I have been to the Luoyin Mountains many times. It is the first time I have been attacked by so many wicked. Cui Haoyan replied, in my opinion, we shouldn't continue like this any longer. I'm afraid we'll have to change our clothes. Dong Fengyu's voice was warm and calm. He believed that Bailey Hong Zhuang would not shoot aimlessly. Since Bailey Hong Zhuang had said so, she must have affirmed her theory. I also believe in Bailey Hong Zhuang's judgment. Xia Zhiqing followed. Seeing that Dong Fengyu and the others did not hesitate to believe in her, Bailey Hong Zhuang's lips curved up gently. Gong Shaoqing and the others looked at each other, not really having an opinion. Soon, everyone had changed their clothes as they once again continued towards the miasma forest. As they hurried, everyone was surprised to find that the frequency of wicked attacks had reduced significantly. After the team avoided a few places known for having wicked, they only encountered a handful of them. At this moment, everyone no longer doubted what Bailey Hong Zhuang had said. Their clothes had been tampered with by Yihu Chung and the others. Bailey Hong Zhuang, you are really powerful. You even found out what was wrong with our clothes. Lu Qinyu could hardly hide her admiring face. She really admired Bailey Hong Zhuang. Bailey Hong Zhuang, you're amazing. Cui Haoyan showed thumbs up, and Bai Junyu's face also expressed his admiration. If it weren't for Bailey Hong Zhuang who found out the problem, I'm afraid they would still be being attacked. In this way, they would have been delayed on their way to the destination. What's more, if they are exhausted, Yihu Chung and the others would suddenly appear, wanting to start another fight. Bailey Hong Zhuang, I really want to thank you. Dong Fenyu also praised with a smile. Chapter 445, Relying on Yourself, Listening to Everyone's Praises. Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled and waved her hand. I'm just doing what I should be. Hong Zhuang, you are too humble. Zhang Yunfeng laughed. After Cui Hao Yin was saved by Bailey Hong Zhuang, Zhang Yunfeng was full of gratitude towards Bailey Hong Zhuang. At first, she thought that Bailey Hong Zhuang was just trying to steal all the limelight in the college, and her heart had been guarded. However, after learning more about Bailey Hong Zhuang, her original dissatisfaction disappeared and was replaced by an appreciation for Bailey Hong Zhuang. For example, with Bailey Hong Zhuang being such a talented genius, she really had no need to grab the limelight. She has long been doomed to be watched and admired. I also require Di Bei Chen's help to confirm my guess. Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled slightly. Looking towards Di Bei Chen, she does not like being put into the limelight alone. Di Bei Chen chuckled. His wifey was too cute. Anyways, thank you. Or we would have still been fighting and exhausted. Cui Haoyan shook his head. Previously, they had been like a taut bowstring with tension, always alert but still being attacked by Wicked, making them extremely tired in a short time. If later in the day, they were encountered by Yihu Cheng and the others, they would have no strength to fight. Yihu Cheng and the people of the Vicious Flames mercenary group are really scheming and despicable. With the method they used, if not for Bailey Hong Zhuang and Di Bei Chen, we will be really unlucky. Xia Ji Qing seethed. Being schemed against, who would be happy? When she said this, Gong Xiaoqing and the others looked as if their faces were covered with a layer of ice. They had never been good people. Since the other party wanted to deal with them in this way, they would fully reciprocate to Yihu Cheng and the others. Suddenly, Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled sinisterly, her eyes appearing deeper than the ocean. Di Bei Chen looked at the change in Bailey Hong Zhuang's expression and told himself to be more aware of his own wife. It was just a means to deal with the fact that Bailey Hong Zhuang was really mysterious. He already knew of Bailey Hong Zhuang's bizarre means. Not as good as shouldn't we also give to people what they have given to us? Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled slightly. She had never liked to be the losing party. If Xiao Bai and Xiao Bai had not told her this time, she would not have known what happened. She had already studied the substance and found that the liquid applied by them was colorless and odorless, and it was smeared by hand. It was indeed unguardable. It seems that the physician who made this liquid was quite good. However, doctors were of two types, one who helped the world, learning medicine to save people, and the others who used medicine just as a means for their own survival, and achieved this through the usage of a variety of poisons and poisonous powders. Obviously, the doctor who developed this medicine belonged to the latter kind. The Vicious Flames mercenary group had this liquid. It was no wonder they gained the spot among the top mercenary groups. The most frequent place visited by mercenaries was this mountain range. Among the mountain ranges, Wicked were in abundance. Once the Vicious Flames mercenary group decided on their enemy, as long as they had the opportunity to smear the liquid onto the other's clothes, then they had the power to trap the other party in the Luo Yun Mountains forever. This method was really cruel. As Bailey Hong Zhuang said this, everyone there looked toward her. Chapter 446, Don't Ever Offend Bailey Hong Zhuang. Bailey Hong Zhuang, do you have a solution? Even the iceberg-faced Gong Xiaoqing was concerned with the sudden turn of events, and hearing Bailey Hong Zhuang's words, he asked her, his usually placid as lake expression now slightly stormy. He had always disliked trouble, and he was simply unwilling to pay attention to problems that could be ignored. However, the repetitive occurrences of Yihu Cheng had incurred his ire. He had never been afraid of Yihu Cheng. He just thought it was useless to bother with someone like him. However, Yihu Cheng obviously did not get the hint. If he allowed Yihu Cheng to go on like this, there would be countless troubles in the future. It was better to take this opportunity and silence him completely. If it weren't for the urgent need to go to the miasma forest, he would have immediately rushed to kill Yihu Cheng as early as this morning, and would not have given him an opportunity for escape. The eyes of the team members locked onto Bailey Hongzong. They all looked forward to it. They were attacked early in the morning, and later they were schemed against. As special enrollment students of Songlan College, how could they bear this? Hearing that Bailey Hongzhuang had a way, they just wanted to retaliate against Yi Hucheng and the others and let them know that they were not to be trifled with. The corners of Bailey Hongzhuang's lips rose up slightly. I do have a way, but tonight we need to find a place to rest earlier. I need some time to prepare. Hearing this, everyone did not hesitate to nod. As long as they could show them their places, what could some delay of time be counted as? The big deal was that they would have their revenge tomorrow. What's more, if they were constantly attacked by Yi Hucheng and the others, their speed of progress will slow down. So, it was better to solve this problem and then hit the road again. Seeing that everyone agreed, Bailey Hongzhuang said, "Since they used Wicked to hurt us, we will also use Wicked to deal with them." Everyone's eyes lit up. This was naturally the most energy-saving method. "Hongzhuang, do you have any way to use Wicked?" Xiaji Qing's eyes flashed with curiosity, unable to help but ask. They're not the only ones who can produce that liquid. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled lightly, her face full of confidence. With regard to making drugs and elixirs, she always refused to admit defeat. She had dealt with many unusual poisons. She had also developed medicinal elixirs and liquids for various purposes. Fortunately, she had always had the habit of collecting medicinal herbs. In her yin-yang bag, there were enough herbs to satisfy her current needs. But how do we smear the liquid onto their body? Bai Junyu frowned, his face puzzled and worries. They had originally been sparkling, but thinking of this predicament, they turned dark. That is somewhat tricky. Tonight when they come again, we will be waiting for them. Then doing what they did to us, we will let them have a taste of their own medicine. As Bailey Hongzhuang expressed her thoughts, everyone's eyes expressed their shock. Bai Junyu was excited. He was now aware that there was no one who could offend Bailey Hongzhuang. Otherwise, they themselves wouldn't know how they died. This idea is really awesome. Xiaji Qing was excited. 4 such disgusting fellows like Yi Hucheng and the Vicious Flames mercenary group. She did not show an ounce of mercy. This move is pretty smooth. Cui Haiyan once again raised his thumbs. He really admired Bailey Hongzhuang's brain and was at the same time fortunate that he was not an enemy of Bailey Hongzhuang. Otherwise, he will be finished. Chapter 447, the main event when darkness fell again. The entire Luo Yun Mountains were plunged into darkness. The dark clouds blocked the moon, making it even darker than usual, and with the calls of the animals and Wicked, a dark and sinister aura had spread throughout. Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were sitting under a tree. Sometime in between, they had once again worn the clothes from earlier. Soon afterward, Wicked rushed over to them like they had smelt something delicious and immediately began attacking their team. The sound of clanging weapons and the howls and screams of Wicked came in tandem, and the faces of Bailey Hongzhuang and the other people were full of depression. Damn it, how are there so many Wicked? It's hell. Cui Haoyin cursed while stabbing one of them. Dong Fengyu's face was also full of dissatisfaction and exhaustion. It seems that we are being constantly hit by misfortune ever since we met Yi Hucheng and that group. I have had no rest the entire day. It is really hateful. I don't understand. How do they know where we are? Not far away, Yi Hucheng heard the screams of Gong Shaoqing and the others who were still fighting. His originally angry face now beamed with excitement. Leader Zhao, you are really too clever. Yi Hucheng looked over to see Zhao Yihan, his eyes full of excitement. Zhao Yihan chuckled loudly. Due to being constantly attacked, they must have had no rest all day. Even the speed of their moves is slow. Yi Hucheng looked for a moment, and then smiled and nodded. Yes, they wouldn't have been able to think that this was all our doing. This time, I will certainly be able to kill Gong Shaoqing. At this moment, Yi Hucheng's heart was full of confidence. For a long time, his strength had been comparable to Gong Shaoqing's. Now that Gong Xiaoqing was so tired, as long as they fought and he gave it his all, Gong Xiaoqing would certainly lose to him. In a competition between two evenly matched cultivators, as long as there was even the slightest bit of gap, it would result in the weaker one's failure. Zhao Yihan's eyes flashed with a chilling light. I will also take revenge for my brothers who have fallen from their hands. The loss of 3 practitioners at Mysterious Ian late stage, he cannot accept it, but with Yihu Chung now helping them, and his talent compared to those cultivators, made the loss still within acceptable limits. Now, he had recorded this enmity with Beilihong Zhuang and other people. In my opinion, they should be exhausted enough. Let's go now. Yihu Chung screamed. He couldn't help but want to go there and kill Gong Xiaoqing. Hearing this, Zhao Yihan pondered for a moment and said, "Let's wait for them to kill this group of wicked, and then we will go." Well then, Yihu Chung nodded. As long as he could personally kill Gong Xiaoqing, what was a few minutes' time? "Master, they have already come." Xiao Hei's voice reminded Beilihong Zhuang. "It won't be long before they attack you." "I know." Beilihong Zhuang's eyes quickly swept over the dense foliage. Xiao Hei and Xiao Bai's cultivation power was very strong, so they could easily detect Yihu Chung and the others. "Kiki." Beilihong Zhuang coughed suddenly, and the next moment, Gong Xiaoqing and others' eyes changed a bit. It seems like the main event would now begin. Chapter 448, Revenge O. After Gong Xiaoqing slashed at and killed the last wicked, everyone was relieved. Finally, these wicked are dead, and I am utterly exhausted. Bai Junior replied with a hint of helplessness. He sat down tiredly on the ground, looking as if he were unwilling to move even a single finger again. Everyone take a break. After a short break, we will leave quickly to find a place to rest. Otherwise, the current bloody smell will surely attract and provoke other wicked. Gong Xiaoqing reminded. I know, all the people seem tired. At this moment, an untimely sound came. I think you look very tired. It is better to rest here forever. Yihu Chung smiled proudly as he slowly walked towards Beilihong Zhuang and the others. He was really happy. He had never been this happy since the time he had been kicked out of the Conglan College. Gong Xiaoqing and the others' faces changed a bit, looking gloomily at Yihu Chung. Yihu Chung, how dare you appear again? We let you escape this morning. This time we will not do so. Gong Xiaoqing, you talk really big. Yihu Chung sneered. You have been attacked by wicked the entire day. I'm afraid that you must already be exhausted. The voice fell, and Beilihong Zhuang and the others were quiet. A few seconds later, they looked at Yihu Chung with ugly expressions. Today's events have been planned by you. Dong Fengyu asked. The anger in his voice could not be concealed. Yes, it is what I did. Yihu Chung proudly raised his chin as he looked at the other side to where Zhao Yihan stood. Thanks to the method of Vicious Flames mercenary group's second leader. What do you think? Despicable. What's despicable? Do you want more? Yihu Chung stepped forward towards Beilihong Zhuang and the others, while Beilihong Zhuang and the group kept taking steps backward. They showed a very different attitude from the one they had to see this morning, and the mercenaries of the Vicious Flames mercenary group showed a happy smile. The roles had been reversed, and the ones in a sticky situation now were these special enrollment students of the Conglan College. Fight! Zhao Yihan waved. Tonight, we will have revenge on our enemies and repay all complaints and grudges. The next moment, Yihu Chung and the mercenaries rushed towards Beilihong Zhuang and the others. Not only that, even Zhao Yihan himself rushed up. Today he must kill Di Beichun. Faced with the attack of Yihu Chung and the others, Beilihong Zhuang and the others stepped back, as if afraid. Seeing this situation, Yihu Chung and the others became more and more proud, holding their weapons and clamoring to kill the group. Suddenly, Beilihong Zhuang and other people looked at one another and ran behind with great tacit understanding. Ihu Chung and the others would naturally not allow Bailey Hong Zhuang and the others to run away like this, and quickly chased after them. Just then, Gong Xiaoqing threw out a punch. Boom! Dust rose in the sky. White powder mixed with yellow sand flew onto Ihu Chung and the others, covering their body and hair, and momentarily blinding them. Ihu Chung and the others only noticed that there was a slope on that side. After they rubbed their eyes, Bailey Hong Zhuang and the others had already fled. In the middle of the night, once Bailey Hong Zhuang and the others decided to run away, it would be very difficult to find them. Anyways, we must catch up with them. Ihu Chung spat out the dust in his mouth with anger. Chapter 449 Black Belly. After some time, Bailey Hong Zhuang and the others were sitting idly on tree branches. They all looked relaxed and cozy. Their exhausted appearance had disappeared. Ihu Chung and the others certainly wouldn't think that they only need to turn around a corner to find us. Xia Zhiqing chuckled. She thought that Ihu Chung and the mercenaries' expressions were ridiculous. She was really curious what kind of expression Ihu Chung and those mercenaries would make later when they got their surprise. Bailey Hong Zhuang blinked. Let's wait and see. There will surely be a good spectacle. No one ever noticed the figure of Xiao He and Xiao Bai, who had left quietly for some while, but had now returned to Bailey Hong Zhuang's head. Ihu Chung and the mercenaries trailed the direction where Bailey Hong Zhuang and the others had run. However, they found that there were no traces of Bailey Hong Zhuang and the others at all. Vuh! Suddenly, a loud, squeaky screech sounded, and from the tone and pitch of the voice, it was possible to judge that the owner of it was a wicked. Awoo! After the first scream, more screeches and screams sounded in response to the call. It seemed particularly terrible in the still silence. Gong Xiaoqing and the others listened to the screeches of Wicked, and a weird expression appeared on their faces. What is this Wicked? Why is its cry so terrible? Xia Zhiqing turned her body, the admiration in her eyes growing thicker. Hong Zhuang, your powder was too effective. How long has it been? How did it attract them so fast? So many Wicked. The powder did not work too quickly. It's just that this area is inhabited by black phantom firebirds. I just helped them find more trouble. Bailey Hong Zhuang shrugged, looking serious as if what she had just done was easy and simple as pie. However, Bai Junyu and others could not help but shiver. Black phantom firebird. It was a Wicked that was even more powerful than a cultivator at the mysterious Ian late stage. They had previously conspired against them, but now Ihu Chung and the others had fallen into a sticky situation. Directly entering the Black Phantom Firebird's territory was like looking for death. Dong Fengyu and Gong Xiaoqing were completely convinced of Bailey Hong Zhuang's prowess now. They did not want to dwell too much on this strange method. Bai Junyu had originally thought that Ihu Chung and the others were extremely despicable, but the moment he felt somewhat sympathetic towards them. Too awful. It's terrible. Wifey is really smart. As a result, you even saved us. Di Beichen smiled and praised. Bailey Hong Zhuang clapped her hands indifferently. We all have been exhausted after today's event. Now, W don't have to worry about Ihu Chung and the others now and can rest. What lady says is reasonable. Everyone was screaming internally at seeing Di Beichen and Bailey Hong Zhuang flirt so naturally. They can't help but think that these two were really black-bellied. As the screams got farther and farther away, the team jumped down from the tree. We should find a place to rest. Bailey Hong Zhuang smiled lightly, finally able to get some rest. Xia Zhiqing looked somewhat reticent. Hong Zhuang, Ihu Chung, and those mercenaries will not escape easily, right? Di Beichen put his arm around Bailey Hong Zhuang's shoulder and smiled. Would my dear wifey ever let them off so easily? Chapter 450 Eating Food, listening to Di Beichen's words. Xia Zhiqing suddenly felt that her worries were somewhat redundant. Bailey Hong Zhuang had even provoked Wicked like Black Phantom Firebird. How could she allow Ihu Chung and those mercenaries to live. Cui Hao Yin patted Xia Zhiqing's shoulder and smiled, saying, even if they were lucky enough to escape from the Black Phantom Firebird, don't forget that Bailey Hongzhuang's powder will still be working. That is true. Xia Zhiqing had an epiphany. Bailey Hongzhuang really made sure that her plans had no leak. Not far away, Lu Huaiyin and Fu Hongbo were listening to the conversation of Bailey Hongzhuang and the others. They felt the hairs on their back rise. This method, even they would be hard-pressed for escape. Yu Cheng is really unlucky to have encountered this girl. Lu Huaiyin cried out before smiling and saying, this wonderful and unpleasant method really makes one fallible. You should be grateful that we hadn't run into this godly doctor's wrath before. Fu Hongbo chuckled, but the method that Bailey Hongzhuang used today really opened his eyes. The kind of powder, if he had a chance, he would like to get it. After all, this kind of powder could really help in a tough spot. However, Lu Huaiyin said somewhat doubtfully, how did Bailey Hongzhuang know that there was a lair of Black Phantom Firebirds nearby? Hearing this, Fu Hongbo also paused. This point, even he did not understand. Oh, Master, our effective when working together is really good. Xiao He smiled, a hint of appreciation in his looks. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled and nodded. If it weren't for Xiao He and Xiao Bai who had alerted her about the Black Phantom Firebirds, this matter today would not have gone as smoothly. After we go back, I will give you a lot to eat. Hearing this, Xiao He and Xiao Bai's faces bloomed like flowers. This was their ultimate goal. It was indeed worth their hard work. Baisher picked up a small claw towards Bailey Hongzhuang, inditing that he too had been helpful. As the Beastmaster, it was most sensitive towards Wicked, and as long as he was more attentive, he could easily determine the position of a Wicked den. It was because of this that Bailey Hongzhuang chose where to rest today. You too. Bailey Hongzhuang touched Baisher's small head. Having the Beastmaster was also a big weapon. Baisher blinked with satisfaction, his furry little face also expressing it. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled deep in a bit. Raising these 3 gluttons was not easy, but these 3 gluttons were also very helpful. The only benefit they needed was food. That night, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others could finally rest comfortably overnight. Without the harassment of Yu Cheng and the others, everyone felt happy. Among the team, the best mood was Lu Qingyu's. Since the first time she thought of Yu Cheng, she could not sleep at night. Especially after Yu Cheng had appeared the last time, she was even more afraid that he would keep appearing before her again and again. But now she no longer had to worry about this problem. Lu Yu, afterward, Yu Cheng will not appear again. You don't need to worry about it. Gong Shaoqing's cold voice was chilly, but revealed a bit of comfort and relaxation, as if removing a burden. Lu Qinyu smiled and nodded. Yeah, I can finally be relieved. In that case, I will not mention this again in the future. Chapter 451, Will You Be With Me? Listening to Gong Shaoqing's words, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others also thought the same. There were not many people who knew about this matter. Not that there were people who liked to whisper such things. This matter was now over and would not be mentioned. What's more, now that Yu Cheng was dead, this matter had obviously come to an end. Big Brother Gong, what do you mean by that? Lu Qinyu's eyebrows rose in an instant when she heard Gong Shaoqing's words. Sensitive to such matters, she immediately discovered the hidden meaning in his words. Gong Shaoqing shook his head. There is no point in it. I just see that you're no longer under a psychological pressure and have a lot of peace of mind. This was a very normal sentence. However, after Lu Qinyu heard it, her expression changed. The usual gentle expression gave way to layers of emotions, and there was a hint of sadness spreading. It was only that this was not shown. Dong Fangyu, Cui Hao Yin, Zhang Yunfeng, and Bailey Hongzhuang looked at each other. They all indistinctly understood Gong Shaoqing's meaning. It had always been known that Gong Shaoqing and Lu Qinyu were close. However, Gong Shaoqing's attitude towards Lu Qinyu was different from hers to him. From the attitude of Gong Shaoqing, It could be easily felt that he did not like Lu Qinyu a lot, but because he had to protect her, the relationship between them was very close. In the beginning, Gong Xiaoqing felt that he was the reason for the things between Lu Qinyu and Yi Hu Cheng, and had been protecting Lu Qinyu. Now that Yi Hu Cheng no longer existed, then Lu Qinyu had no reason to be afraid anymore. As a result, Gong Xiaoqing naturally does not need to protect Lu Qinyu like before. He was drawing a line, Xiaji Qing, and by June you looked at each other with curiosity. They did not know of the matter from before, and naturally did not understand why the atmosphere had become so weird. Di Bei Chun sat indifferently and comfortably as if nothing was happening around him. On seeing this, Bailey Hong Zhuang also sat down beside Di Bei Chun. This matter, even if they understood it and didn't speak, they felt they shouldn't hear it. It was more appropriate for Lu Qinyu and Gong Xiaoqing to discuss this matter. Seeing Billy Hong Zhuang's actions, Cui Hao Yin and the other 3 people also followed. They did not want to get into these personal matters. If they continued to stand there, it would only attract attention. The next moment, Gong Xiaoqing and Lu Qinyu suddenly walked a bit farther and talked with each other. Di Bei Chun bent down slightly. Looking at Bailey Hong Zhuang, he revealed a doting smile. Is wifey now used to working with husband? Bailey Hong Zhuang thought about it for a moment. It's not bad. The arc of Di Bei Chen's lips became more pronounced, his right hand grasping Bailey Hong Zhuang's small hand on the ground. It is not easy for people in the world to find someone both pleasing to the eyes and whom they can connect with. I will never find someone as good as Lady. Will she be with her husband? Hearing this, Bailey Hong Zhuang slowly turned to the male perfection beside her. The sun shone on his face, appearing soft and warm. They were really close, but she could not see even the slightest blemish on Di Bei Chen's face. He really did have impeccable features. Chapter 452. Bailey Hong Zhuang's lips twisted, her deep black pupils flashing with seriousness. I, Bailey Hong Zhuang, never will. To him, this was her answer. Di Bei Chen blinked in the moment of stagnation. Soon, a smile rose the corner of his mouth again. So to speak, husband still has to continue chasing his wifey for a long time. Di Bei Chen said, his face full of emotion. It seemed as if he was completely confident. Bailey Hong Zhuang shook her head, looking indifferently at Di Bei Chen, and the atmosphere between them fell silent. Soon afterward, Gong Xiaoqing and Lu Qinyu came back, looking as if nothing had happened. It is late now, let's go, Gong Xiaoqing slowly said. Everyone nodded. The sudden appearance of Yi Hu Cheng had disrupted their plans, and now they needed to hurry up. Bailey Hong Zhuang stood up from the ground and was ready to go along with everyone. When everybody was ready to go, Di Bei Chun grabbed Bailey Hong Zhuang. Suddenly, Bailey Hong Zhuang was pushed up against the tree, and he was standing before her. Di Bei Chen's face leaned close to Bailey Hong Zhuang's, as he said, "The husband is not willing to give up. There will be a day that lady will willingly marry me." Saying this, Di Bei Chun let her go, watching as Bailey Hong Zhuang ran to catch up with the team. Bailey Hong Zhuang looked back at the tall and straight figure, different emotions flashing through his eyes. After the people once again embarked on their expedition, the people clearly felt that Lu Qinyu's mood was somewhat low. Usually, Lu Qinyu's mouth always has a shallow smile. At the moment, her face looked like it was shrouded in dark clouds. It was like she didn't have the slightest spirit, and a faint hint of vagueness spread. Upon seeing this situation, the other people knew the outcome and were slightly desperate. Now free of Yi Hu Cheng and the mercenaries' harassment, the progress of Bailey Hong Zihong and the team was very fast. After 3 days, the team finally appeared at the place where the miasma forest was located. On looking closer at the miasma forest, more and more cultivators appeared around them. Usually in the depths of Luoyuan Mountains, it was rare to see so many people. It could be seen how the mysterious miasma forest was an attractive place to everyone. Wow, I didn't expect that there would be so many people here. Xiaoji Qing said in amazement. They've already come here, so isn't the task finished by now? Watching the posture of these cultivators, it was obvious that they had been here for some time. Bai Junyu chuckled. Do you think that a miasma forest like this would be so simple? Miasma has always been dangerous. To make sure to not get trapped inside, we must think of ways before itself. Listening to these words, Xiaoji Qing's eyes cleared, realizing it. If so, then we still have a chance. Master, this miasma is highly toxic. Wanting to go in is not easy. Xiao He spoke up as he looked at the miasma in front of him. There was also a trace of worry in the eyes of the other little beasts. The area covered by the miasma is very large. It is no wonder that the mercenary trade union will give out such high rewards. Bailey Hong Zhuang eyed the trees and miasma, which seemed to cover the entire forest. Completely covered by miasma, the place appeared white. The thickness of the miasma was very scary, and the visibility was not even 1 meter. From the outside, it was impossible to guess on the situation inside. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.